on the dial, it's the top of the hour. Charles PR, the mic bring the power. From Chicago to Green Bay, Philly to LA, they're the kings of the airwaves, paving the way. The guys cracking jokes, got you laughing out loud, hyping you up, never stuck in the crowd. With thick, hot takes, they ignite the debate, lighting up the night, never showing up late. Never giving a fuck, they're raw and real, breaking down the plays that tell you how they feel. From the end zone to the final buzzer beat, Charles PR and Mike, they can't beat beats. In the studio, they're the masters of the game, names up in lights, they rise into fame. With every broadcast, they turn up the heat. On your radio dial, they're the dream team. Boys with the heat, they burn through the night. Sports scores and more, breaking down the games. From city to city, they rule the airwaves, bringing the fire, the heat never fades. Boys with the heat, they burn through the night. Sports scores and more, they're always right. From city to city, they rule the airwaves, bringing the fire, they're the legends and the brave. So turn it up, let it blast through the street. Charles P on the mic, and that guy bring the heat. Never giving a fuck, they're always on top. With every new show, let's fucking rock.
Welcome back.
Again, Paul.
Man, I'm hyped.
Sick intro.
I'm just waiting for the cover album.
It reminds me. It makes me feel like
27 songs.
It makes me feel like I'm watching a Blue Mountain State episode.
That is exactly what it is. The intro.
You want to know the worst thing is, though? The Caitlin Clark one is the only one that's muted on YouTube.
Well, that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
They're trying to deafen a rookie campaign.
Yeah, that's true.
Do you sing that yourself, that intro?
Oh, I wish.
Yes.
No.
Yes,
No,
I do.
That's all AI. That's royalty-free music. Like I said, you guys want an intro? Hit me up. I'll freaking write you one.
It's fantastic.
Yeah.
Do it.
Yeah, that country one made me feel like I needed to be in a truck out with my dog. But
No,
that one,
yeah.
it makes
Well,
me feel
welcome,
like I'm ready
boys.
to-
Welcome, boys. Today we got the Cup Check podcast. We got Nate and we got Bailey here.
Oh,
Thanks for having us in.
Well,
Yeah,
thanks for coming.
absolutely. Tell us a little bit about yourselves, gentlemen. Let us tell us the foundation. Let us know a little bit about that.
Yeah, Bailey, you want to go first?
Yeah. First of all, we just appreciate you guys for having us on. Definitely our first guest appearance on a podcast. So super grateful, super excited. We've only been at this thing for a month, and we're having a lot of fun, especially on TikTok. So we appreciate you guys. If you're watching, definitely check us out. We appreciate you guys getting us into the light a little bit. But I'm from California. I'm in Buffalo, New York with my best friend, Nate, right here. And we started this Cup Check thing, and we're having a lot of fun with it, honestly. And not much to it. We're just trying it out. So
Yeah, no expectations really for us. We're just kind of going with it. We're learning a lot of new things, and I'm not very tech savvy, so it's teaching me to learn how to edit and all that stuff. We talked a little bit earlier, we're learning how to use AI, but we're on TikTok, YouTube, Podbean, and all the podcast platforms as of right now. And we did just create an Instagram as well. So we're trying to get out there and produce content that people want to see, but just kind of going with the flow right now, enjoying the process for sure.
That's so fantastic. So, Buffalo, New York. You picked a perfect side gig for a state as such that endures such snowy weather.
Yeah, not right now though. It's like 100 out.
blistering over here. Blistering
man.
Buffalo.
Moving from California, how was the first? And Nate, are you born and raised in Buffalo?
Yeah, yes, sir. I'm from a town just north of Buffalo a little bit. So
Okay.
actually, I'm about 30 minutes from Buffalo, 30 minutes from Niagara Falls, 30 minutes from Rochester. Obviously, everyone knows Niagara Falls, Buffalo. Rochester, really only known for high rates of violent crime, but that kind of puts them on the map a little bit.
Yeah,
Sure.
yeah.
Get a little bit of that, a little bit of this.
So, what was your first snow experience, Bailey? How was that?
Yeah, that's a great question. I'm glad I have some experience because from California, most people don't. But my dad's from Cincinnati, so I'm a huge Bengals, Cincinnati Reds fan.
Yeah.
With basketball, it's kind of Lakers, but I'm a big Kobe guy, so it's hard to root for LeBron.
Yeah, we'll get into
But
that
back to my-
shortly. Yeah.
But back to my point. Yeah, Cincinnati was the first time experiencing snow.
Okay.
As a kid, and it has been a while. So definitely
Yeah.
Cincinnati. I have so much love for Cincinnati. A lot of my first experiences there, like snow and whatnot. So
Yeah. Oh, that's fantastic to hear.
It snowed in Buffalo when you came up over winter, though, didn't it? Or was it just really cold?
there was some, I would say slush, but there was some snow
Slush.
days. I would say.
That's the worst, honestly. The snow is fine. The slush.
Yeah.
More
Yeah.
slush.
All I can think of is Buffalo is all the football players shoveling. They came back from that football game and there was a blizzard. They were all shoveling themselves.
Yeah, yeah, we got
Yeah.
screwed that year too because
Yeah.
they had to go play in Detroit, and then I think they had to like fly back and then fly back like a day later or something. They had to shovel out of their own driveway. It was
That was so tough. Yeah. I remember the video. Old boy driving
Guys
away
driving
with
with
the
it.
with
He
the
just fell on the
two-story
track.
snow car on top.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, it's for real too. Like I got snowed in my house Christmas, not this past year, but the year before that. Power
Yeah.
went out. Had to live with my family and all like 10 of us, including like kids and brother and all that stuff, and it was horrible. But it's part of the experience.
Yeah.
So just moving to Wisconsin, the wife and I were experiencing because we are originally from the Upper Peninsula of Michigan.
Okay.
We do have running water, and we don't have to go to outhouses to utilize the restroom. That's all luxuries we do enjoy up there in the woods. But coming down here, we with the tornadoes and everything now, I've been looking into that Patriot, what's that, Patriot Supply, looking into getting some rationings and
Are you going to build
whatnot.
yourself a bunker, Charles, or what's going on here?
Yes.
Nothing you can tell me about?
Bunkers, yeah, absolutely. 75 feet down.
Now,
I'm going to be
Yeah.
utilizing connexes. I'm just going to bury connexes underground. I'm
living
gonna-
in Texas
Yeah,
makes
yeah.
me miss basements.
And I will say too, California, we do not do basements in California.
No?
My wife is from New Orleans, so like they're she has an idea, but
Yeah.
she doesn't know the depths of the
Oh, man.
the pluses of having that
Yeah.
basement.
Yeah.
You know,
Especially if
what
you
I'm
have a
Oh, yeah.
furnished basement. Have you ever been in like
Yeah.
a man
Yeah.
cave basement?
Yeah.
Phenomenal.
Yeah.
One
Yeah.
of my good friends, he has one up there, and he moved back home to Chicago. He's an old Army buddy, and he's like, I hate the environment of Chicago, but I don't miss the unpredictable weather of Texas anymore. And I'm like, yeah, it's still
Yeah.
it's still bipolar down here.
You know you're just going to get pooped on in Chicago. That's just how the story goes.
Shut up.
Sports and weather. I'm sorry.
Who's closer
One
to the
or the other?
border? Out of you in Wisconsin and you in Texas, are either of you really close to the border?
Which border?
Well, different borders, but
Yeah. Okay,
Are you
so
close to
it would-
Canada?
Not anymore. Well,
Okay.
I would say I'm about
3.5, 4 hours.
no, it's about 5.5. Well, yeah, I guess depending on what fucking direction you take. But
I'm about maybe like 5 to 6 hours away from the border.
so
Oh,
we're
really?
we're about dead even. Yeah, we're about
I'm
dead
dead
even.
smack in the middle of Texas. So
Okay.
depending on traffic, it could take 10 hours.
Because it takes
Okay.
about 3 hours to get to Manistee, and then it takes about another 2 hours, 2.5 hours to get to the bridge, via old Sault Ste. Marie. Although, I mean, you could take the fucking ferry across
you
the
could
Big
ferry,
Lake.
go to Drummond Island or whatever it is.
Yeah,
and it's like
yeah.
20
Catch
hours.
some of them cherries from Old Traverse, and then boogie
You go that
across
way,
the
too.
tunnel. That'd be like 15, 19 hours, though. So
Yeah.
I'm only 40.
Not doing that.
I'm only like 40
Only
minutes
minute
away
and a
from the border and like 2 hours from Toronto. But if it wasn't for Lake Ontario, like we could almost
Straight shot.
drive a boat straight across. We could see the CN
Yeah.
Tower from
Yeah.
the lake
That's pretty
and go and
badass,
see Drake
actually.
if we wanted to.
So my cousins lived in the Sault Ste. Marie, and they would go across the bridge to enjoy the more lackadaisical laws that Canada has. Was that
Used to
something you and your friends also used to do?
So I was in college. So I think you're referring to two different things. Well, up until recently, they were really the only place with legal marijuana, and then the 19 age limit
Drinking
to
age.
drink.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
but I was in college in California during the years when I was 19, 20, and
Okay.
then obviously once I'm 21. But I hear the
Yeah.
Toronto nightlife is insane. I met
heard
some
that too.
guys at a Maple Leaf Sabres game, and we got absolutely bent over the rail as expected. But we went
Yeah.
out with them after, and we were kind of joking around with them, and ended up making good friends with them. And they were going to the game the next night, and I actually met them out. They were plenty older than me, and it was like one of the best wingman experiences I've ever had with this one Canadian guy. I was like, how are you doing this? Like, he was going up to girls saying, it's my little brother's birthday, and like they were just loving like the Canadian energy or something.
He was winging it to the max.
Yeah, he had a wife, kids, and I was like, dude, you're a dog.
Yeah. I second what Nate says. Outside of the internet, every Canadian, well, and even on this show, outside of so don't include this show in my
And
statement.
this with a broad brush, saying outside of the show, every
Don't
Canadian.
say, but every Canadian I've met in real life has been like the absolute best fucking conversation I've ever had. And they're always super polite. They're always super into how you're doing as a person.
Yes.
Then you go on the internet and it's like, who are you people? What are you doing in this comment section? You are not anyone I've ever met in my life.
Demons on the comment section.
It's the demons.
I only had one bad experience with a Canadian. It was actually last week at a what was that concert I went to, Bailey? It was a country. I'm not big into country
Kenny
music.
Chesney.
No, it wasn't Kenny Chesney.
Oh,
but it was
sorry, Chris Stapleton.
Chris Stapleton. I was at a Chris Stapleton concert, and I was with one of my friends, and she's a girl. And this guy came up to me and was like, "What do you?" I was asking people to like. I was just trying to plug, like, complete sellout for the podcast. And he was like, "I was like, you guys got TikTok?" And he was like, "No, like, I'm actually a grown man." And I like was like, "All right, when are you gonna look like one?" And he came up to me like, with his voice. I did not expect him to be Canadian at all. And he was like, dude, what's the channel name? And he's like, yo, I'm checking out this guy's TikTok. Do you want to? And he's like, no, like, I'm not gay or something. And I was like, okay, like, you want a gym membership? I can give you that too. And like, he was like, I promise he can bench more than you. He's like getting into it with me. I was like, dude, I was just trying to get another follower. Before I left, he's like, dude, hope that girl doesn't leave you once you make it big. And the girl was like, why the hell would I leave him once he gets big? Like, that makes, like, I'm not even with this girl, but like, he's like, that's like the worst insult ever. Like, what are you talking about?
So the people on the internet are real, is what you're telling me. So that's so fantastic.
Wow, those are real
I
people.
hope that girl doesn't leave you when you
get big.
I mean, that's the worst insult of all time.
So you're expecting me to get big, bro? Hell yeah.
Hey, I was also gonna say we've had like so many fun experiences just getting interviews in the wild. There's another guy who had about like 35K on TikTok, which honestly is good, but for TikTok it's not that crazy. And and I was filming Nate doing interviews, and I was like, there was this guy behind me. He's like, that is not going to go viral, bro. It's not going viral. I was like, hey,
just made it go viral.
Hey, you can wait in line to interview if you want to talk, but just let us finish first. And I just lured him into the conversation, and next thing you know, the dude's like, oh, I'm going to promote you guys on our TikTok. You guys are hilarious. It's like, dude, you were just coming at me earlier.
He wanted to be included.
We had a spotlight chaser when we were up at Lambeau Field, doing interviews for I believe it was the New Orleans Saints game.
Are you talking about that drunk lady?
Yeah, comes out and rips the mic out of hi.
Diane, I'm Diane.
You are not here for a football game. I'm just throwing that out there.
Dude, it's crazy. Bailey didn't believe me. I told him once we got the light for the camera, because we got the gimbal and the camera, I was like, dude, once we get the light, the women will flock to it. And he was like, I don't really know. And they do, right? Like, moth to a light.
They feel like that light is old.
Yeah, absolutely.
Important.
This is my 5 minutes.
Like to a flame, right?
Yeah, whatever. Come on over. We'll help you get that makeup deal. It is what it is.
It's a crazy power. It's a crazy power.
Absolutely. The only thing we ask for is when you get big, you don't leave us.
Never. So my cousin said the other day too. I was like, dude, we're not even like at 5K yet on TikTok. I was like, you need to chill.
Like, calm down.
Not if, but when.
That's so funny. You know, but it's. So I'm a big universe guy, and it's about living what you dream. You know, there's that a dream or a goal without a plan is just a dream, and y'all have planned out your dream, you know, and you're living your goal, and that's and I said that exactly how I wanted to. I didn't just George Bush y'all there, I promise. But I mean, it's. I like to call it the Bucci lifestyle, right? We're not Gucci and we're not bougie. We're Bucci because we form our own path. We don't conform to the normalities.
I like that.
Which leads us right into one of my favorite moments of any show, a top 5 moment. And what we're going to do now is we're going to give, because the regular season is soups close, I believe we're rocking 56-ish days, 57 days, something like that. 3 days.
Preseason's only like, what, 5 weeks, 4 weeks away?
I'm headed to the preseason Baltimore Ravens game. We're headed to Green Bay Packers family night coming up.
Nice.
Yes.
Bailey and I will.
Hey, rest
Bailey
in peace
and I
to
will.
Kobe Jones.
Yeah.
Just passed away.
Bailey and I will be at Bill's minicamp too. So if anyone likes out in the wild content, we're gonna try to get as much film as we can at Bill's minicamp while they're in Rochester.
Oh, that's so awesome. I'm super jelly. I am a new subscriber to your channel. I can't wait to see that content pop up via YouTube. I'm super pumped about that.
Awesome.
I love the in-person, the real life in-person stuff. Sometimes it's super cheesy and it makes me laugh, but I'm still watching it and I'm still having a good time out there. So you internet people out there, keep doing your dreams, because I like to live vicariously through the internet.
Well, that was Travis. Travis was going out with with his lapel mic, like you guys do, and just hold it out to him. And he's like, I think he was giving like $10 away for trivia, and like he was getting girls coming up there. He had a 10 in his hand, and he goes, they were lining up like kids in the schoolyard, to kick the ball. Like it doesn't take much,
It's crazy.
Yeah, because I mean, I genuinely love seeing other people do great.
Absolutely.
And anything to make people smile, I'm all for it. Well, I'm married, so back off. But almost. I'm just, I'm just kidding. I'm just
not everybody.
Wait a minute. Hold on. What am I kidding about? Now
Hey,
I'm in
I've
a
seen
hole.
your comment section. You're fighting for your life. All these women talking.
Oh no! Top 5 moments now. Get me out of here.
Oh boy, Charles.
All right, so we're going to start off with top 5 regular season teams. This is, and I'll start this off to give everyone a comfortable go. I don't assume there's going to be a lot of difference, but I'm hoping for something magical to happen. I don't know, like in that Incredibles movie with the little kid. What are you here waiting for? I don't know, something amazing to happen, I guess. Coming in at number 1, the Baltimore Ravens.
Really?
Coming in at
all
number...
that shit you talk.
I know. I was gonna think the same thing. This dude.
This is the top 5 regular season. Top 5 regular season.
Charles, we are going to explain to them the reason why it is so strange for you to pick.
That's what I'm saying. All right, let me get through this and we'll pick it apart. Let me get through this.
I was gonna say, are we gonna let you get out the 5 before we kind of discuss?
Yeah. So we got number 1 Ravens, number 2 Chiefs, number 3 the 49ers, number 4. I'm assuming health here, the Cincinnati Bengals, and number 5. I think the winner of the NFC North is going to be the top 5 team. I think that battle comes down arguably to Green Bay or Detroit. And for the show's purpose, I'm going to pick Green Bay Packers. So I've got the Green Bay Packers coming in as the 5th best team in the NFL. It's just for the show, of course. It's just for the show.
Okay.
It's definitely a list. It's definitely a list.
All right.
So backstory to this man's number 1 team. Since he got the award back in February, and maybe even a couple of weeks before, he has been dog shitting on Lamar Jackson.
Listen, he's the greatest regular season quarterback of all time, so it's going to make my top 5 regular season.
It's the way he was talking shit about
Hey,
him.
Charles, I kind of sympathize with you because does Lamar Jackson deserve an MVP? I know he has 2, but did he deserve either of them or no?
He threw the ball better than the other running back, and that's why he got it, in my opinion.
He does this all the time.
I think he robbed Josh Allen last year, and then I don't remember.
He robbed Dak Prescott this year.
I don't know.
Dak was balling. Dak was balling.
Statistically, if we're just talking statistics, Dak had a better year statistically than Lamar Jackson.
Honestly, I blame Shanahan, because if CMC would have thrown 2 more touchdowns, I really think he would have had the MVP.
Yeah.
CMC should have been MVP.
Yeah, I think there were 3 quarterbacks better than Lamar last year. I think Stroud, I think Dak, and Josh Allen were all better in the regular season than Lamar.
Stroud got his rookie of the year, so that kind of makes up for him not being in the conversation.
Stroud was an MVP candidate. I was also going to say, as much as I hate agreeing with Nate as far as Buffalo Bills bias opinions go, it's really true. Like, if you go into deep advanced statistics, Josh Allen is bailing his team out every single week. and
Is he? Though?
always
Is
getting
he?
them to the line
Huh.
and then never
Well,
finishing
he's really
it.
going to have to
And
this year,
People don't understand that.
unfortunately.
Yeah, and people don't understand that when you look into the context of the statistics, and they're like, "Wow, Josh Allen is doing everything for the Bills." So I think
like these guys.
I honestly think Allen should have won MVP. As much as Nate annoys the crap out of me with how much he talks about Josh Allen. Because
Go ahead.
No, I mean, me and him have a Burrow Allen debate almost every day and never ends.
This is
Well,
my
Nate
thing.
wins that one all the time. Yours can't stay healthy. What were you
This
going
is
to
the
say,
thing.
PR?
This is the thing that makes me mad about Josh Allen. He is an outstanding athlete, like top tier talent, but he is aggravatingly just playing too much hero ball sometimes when he doesn't need to, and
Yeah, for
that's
sure.
what frustrates me the most about him. If he could tone down on that hero ball and just like focus, like the Bills could be great. Now, granted, y'all blew up y'all's team for some fucked up reason, especially on defense, which makes
His salary cap.
I get you. But now Josh Allen has to play even that much more better this year to balance that out unless y'all figure some shit out and y'all
Yeah.
just have to sign players that are just going to do something that nobody saw coming.
Well,
Go ahead.
sorry, I was gonna say if
No,
if
go
Sean
ahead.
McDermott's a defensive-minded head coach, he should be able to assemble a defense, and he's done decent jobs of it in the past. He chokes in the playoffs every year, but
That part.
I think you have to trust your coach to reassemble a defense at that point. With the salary cap implications and Von Miller creating a highway robbery for that contract that he signed.
To a couple teams.
I mean, everyone complains about the Diggs trade, but like, dude, they kind of had to get rid of him. Like,
Well, they complained about the trade, but they would have complained louder if you got nothing for him, and it was an inevitable thing. I mean,
It was a lose-lose situation.
See, now to add a little extra fuel to burn these two quickly is that I firmly believe that Josh Allen can put the ball where these new people should be able to catch it. I think it's going to come in to the new people. I don't have questions about Josh Allen as much as some other people. I do put Josh Allen.
That guy up there.
Josh Allen
What?
and Patrick Mahomes right now are like the Tom Brady and Peyton Manning.
Wow.
It's just that's
it's
that's
a different
this
tier. It's a different
generation.
tier.
Yeah, that's
I'm getting tired of defending Josh Allen though, because he's like he keeps
He
making
gotta
me look like
do
a
it, yeah.
dumbass.
Why
Yeah,
do you
but how
have
many
to?
years
You
do
don't
you
have to defend
him
him
for?
over anything, though. He puts up the best stats in the regular season. He's a top 5 playoff performer of all time
He's
statistically.
pulling a Peyton
He
Manning.
just loses. He just
Right now.
loses. That's all.
He's pulling a Peyton Manning right now.
And Peyton
Yeah,
Manning's
well,
one of the best to ever do it.
Yeah, hey, I
And
also wanted to say, I think
yeah.
definitely talent-wise and God-given ability, as far as how much of a threat Josh Allen is, he's way better than all the other quarterbacks. He's in a tier of his own with him and Mahomes. But when it comes to big moments in the playoffs, how does Josh Allen play? And over and over again, he hasn't shown up.
Yeah.
You know he has more playoff touchdowns than Lamar Jackson, Justin Herbert, Joe Burrow, and
What about playoff
who's
wins?
Who's the fourth
Yeah, I
one?
was just about to ask that. How many playoff wins does he have?
That's a team
Well,
stat.
let's
That's a-
take Lamar
that's a
out there.
team stat.
He's
And
not
La-
even a playoff quarterback. He's
I
a
mean,
regular season.
I mean, you could look at playoff stats, and there's only 2 players in the league currently that rival Josh Allen in playoff stats, and it's Rodgers and it's Pat Mahomes. If you want to look at wins,
What do they have that he doesn't?
Rodgers
Good-
doesn't have many of them.
good teams around him.
Yeah. Well, you know, and it does. The story behind Josh Allen is also filled with a bunch of asterisks, unfortunately. And the spotlight remains on Josh Allen, and very few get put back on those asterisks. For example, the defense letting down, or field goal kickers not making kicks in a scenario where you've put your life insurance down on this bet and now you're running for your life. You should have made the kick. But to PR and Patrick's point also, when to get away from these conversations, you ultimately have to win. And I think that's what it's going to take for Josh Allen. I think to end the conversation, he's going to have to beat Patrick Mahomes and then win one more game, because Patrick Mahomes isn't the Super Bowl. And that, I think, is the toughest hill.
He's the only quarterback active in the league who's beaten Mahomes in the playoffs.
Hey, is it weird that Bengals fans are the only fan base that like count second place trophies? Is that weird to anyone else? No one else
I know
counts.
Cowboys do that too.
Oh
We
yeah,
got
the
more
Lakers.
second-place trophies in Buffalo right now.
the
The
fact
Cowboys count how many times they get to the playoffs, let alone
that's
that.
true. And the fact of the matter is outside of Patrick Mahomes, and if you want to look at Aaron Rodgers' legacy, there's no other quarterback that even is winning Super Bowls. So, like, I think all it takes for Allen is one Super Bowl, and he's instantly put in the conversation with Mahomes again. I understand that Mahomes is going to have 3, and he might have 4 by the time Allen gets one. But
winning
like,
that Super Bowl will make
he needs
a
one.
big difference in the conversation.
Here's
as far as what people think of.
It's something I don't understand too, and to your point, Nate, is that there are many, many other quarterbacks. In fact, 30 of them that are also not winning.
Right.
Yet the focus on Josh Allen not winning, and I mean, there should be just as much, if not more, focus on Lamar Jackson's playoff performances than whether or not Josh Allen can beat Patrick Mahomes.
I think it's because people have more faith than Josh Allen to win a championship. That's the problem.
Well, the fact of the matter
Allen
is,
hurts them more.
If there's any player in NFL over the last 5 years or for the next 5 years that people are going to compare realistically to Mahomes, I think everyone knows the only one that stands a chance is Josh Allen. So I think that's why they hold him to a higher standard, because like realistically, everyone else is fighting for like the next tier, and I think Allen is in the next tier, but people see the potential and they're like, this is the only guy that can rival Mahomes.
Because it really is the world against Mahomes. It's just the world feels their best weapon to stop that is Josh Allen. And it's hard for some people to wrap their minds around that. I do agree.
Including me.
Well, and I make jokes about it, but I mean, I've got 2 big issues with Cincinnati. For one, you've got a jungle pit. There ain't no Bengals in the jungle. What the fuck's up with that? And 2, what is up with your organization running Joe Burrow like a dog the first 2 effing weeks of the opening season? Like, this makes no sense to me. Like, he's the most valuable player in the NFL outside of anybody else we've mentioned. And you run him up the horse like he's the last donkey we have. As a fan, elaborate, please.
And I have a great answer for that, and you're totally right. I think the mentality of Joe Burrow, this new press conference that I've watched, one of the main ones, I think he's had 3. He hasn't been talking to the media much. He's a very reserved guy, so he only likes talking to the media if he needs to. But
too busy walking the runway.
And that I'm too important to this franchise. I'm this whole franchise, so I can't afford to put my body on the line to certain risk levels if we can lose 2 games and I make it to, because we're fighting for December. When Joe Burrow decided to keep playing in the first 4 weeks when he was injured and he shouldn't have, Jamar Chase honestly said
same thing.
Yeah, he said we're shooting for December. I need Joe in December. And Joe's a very hard-headed, tough athlete who plays through pain, and he said in the press conference he realizes it, and he needs to be more smart about those things.
We saw that when he had the natty cigar in his mouth.
Well, you know what's crazy is you guys don't know Bailey, but I'll give you the inside scoop of what Bailey was saying at this time in real time. I told him that Joe Burrow probably wasn't going to be healthy enough to start the season, and he said, yes, he is. He's the GOAT. He's going to play week 1. He's going to ball out.
That did not age well.
I called him after the Steelers game.
I accept it.
I called him after the Steelers game. I said, yo, homeboy might want to take a seat next week. And he was like, bro, they're playing him when he's injured. What do you want me to say? And I'm like, you said he wasn't injured. You said he was fine.
What was hurt? Was his calf?
Am I supposed to call him up and tell him, don't play him? Don't play him.
Something you hear.
Should not have played him.
Something you hear.
I know.
Something you hear often as a fan is they're a hard-headed individual. Who is going to stop them from playing?
Yeah, that's coaching.
My thing as a fan is when you're paying the guy $100 million plus, somebody should be able to tell that dude to sit down, right?
I'm paying your check. Sit down.
And then that person should go, hey, wait a minute, you're paying my check. Maybe I should sit down. Where has this person been? Because I feel like that excuse and the coach coming out after a loss you should have won, hearing, this one's my fault, put this one on me. What does that even mean?
And try not over $1 million. Over 4 or 5 years, I think it was close to $250 million. So over 250, I think, 255.
Way too much damn money for you to risk your job.
It sounds like the Philadelphia 76ers bench. But
hey, David's a Sixers fan.
I'm a Sixers fan. Just so
how do you sleep at night?
That's my one like weird team: Sabres, Yankees, Bills, and then my wonky one is the NBA. I'm a Sixers fan.
How do you
But
sleep at night?
I'm a Red Wings fan, so we get it.
Yeah. You know what's funny about the Sixers,
bathe in
Bills?
cheese curds.
Yeah? You like cheese curds? Because I love
bro.
cheese curds.
Oh man.
Oh, don't do
Oh
it,
my
Charles.
God.
Don't do it.
Yeah.
Don't
Don't worry.
It's a terrible day.
Terrible day.
Wait, what you were saying, Dave?
I was saying it's funny. I always use this analogy. The Sixers, the Yankees, and Bills are the exact same team in their various sports. They have premier talent. They have an absolute superstar of a player in Aaron Judge, Joel Embiid, Josh Allen. They're always projected to like win it all going into the year. It always seems like they make really good moves, and they can't get past the second round every year.
Yankees are going to F the pooch again this year.
One year,
Probably.
I wrote an entire piece on what it was like to be a fan of a Super Bowl or championship team to then lose. And I referred many times that it was worse than being a fan of a team that just loses all the time. Like you get your 3 or 4 wins, and it's it's super exciting. You brought that up. I wasn't implying nothing. Listen,
I saw you looking at me.
You can't say you want me to
You were looking down your emotional support friend down here, or what?
But it does, as a fan, that you expect a championship, and then like
That's
just
gotta hurt every
the
year.
most unpredictable thing happens, and you're like, "What is this life?" And it sucks.
And if you're a terrible team, you look forward to the draft every year. Like Bears fans, right? Like you guys get to look forward to the draft every single year.
Hopefully this is the last time. Let me
gotta
ask you
own
this.
something.
Let me
Go
ask
ahead,
y'all all
go
a
ahead.
question. Let me ask y'all a question.
Yeah.
Which way would you rather lose? By a player getting injured right before the playoffs start? Or
Milwaukee
losing-
Bucks.
Or losing all the way healthy and getting smacked out the arena?
I would the Aaron Rodgers thing. Break your leg the first week of the season or first play of the season, and then my
Which
season's
loss
over.
would hurt worse?
Are you comfortable at being an excusable loser, or do you just take your loss and move
I already
on?
told you my beef.
I'm like, honestly, I'd rather lose all the way healthy.
I would
Me
lose.
too.
I'd rather lose
Because
all the
that
way
would be a
healthy.
nice little change as a Bills fan.
Well, you're more content in the what if, you know? If you were healthy, what
Yeah,
if I
because
was healthy?
if you lose your superstar before the playoff starts, like when we lost Derrick Rose and we lost to the Philadelphia 76ers, we should have won it all that year. Fuck y'all.
Yeah.
That's a what if for me, because it's like that
Trade
could have been our year, but we'll never know. Because
Trust the process.
All right, let's do
Rose
what
got
if right
hurt.
now. Let's do what if right now. Let's bring up Caleb Williams right now then, since he's like on the hot ticket right now. He's still yet to sign
hasn't
his,
signed his contract.
rookie contract.
Why do we
we're on
do
the
this
horn
every
right
week?
now. We'll start with Bailey.
Drama
Caleb
queen.
Williams. We went over this. The guy actually wagered a bunch of bets. Like he wagered the over for all of Caleb Williams' stats,
and
which is
I have his
ridiculous.
jersey already.
Yeah, good for you.
haven't noticed.
Yeah. First of all, I'll say I love the fact that he's wearing 18. I think it's really cool.
Yeah.
But I think Caleb Williams is getting a lot of hype right now. I look at so many rookies coming into the league, and I think rookies coming into the league the first time is one of the hardest things in sports, period. That's why everyone was so surprised that CJ Stroud was able to play so well. But one of the
And
main
Jordan Love,
reasons, and one of the main reasons CJ Stroud had such a great year is that front office did an amazing job building pieces around him. So it made him look good. And honestly, that's one of Nate's main points against Burrow. He calls him bailed out Burrow because he has the best receiving trio in the league and whatever. But then I go, where's our offensive line? But whatever.
Your offensive line is projected to be top 10 this year. That makes no sense.
Yeah, I mean, run defense.
Since when?
Yeah, run. Hey, this is what I'll say
The
to Nate.
rankings
Pass
came out.
protection and run blocking is not the same thing.
No.
But anyways, I think Caleb Williams is going to be just fine in the NFL. I think people are overdoing it and expecting a CJ Stroud type year. I wouldn't expect that. As a Bears fan, if I was a Bears fan, I'm a very delusional Bengals fan. So I don't blame you for placing those bets.
Oh,
But,
you haven't heard my
yeah, I
you
like
haven't
Caleb
heard my
Williams.
take yet.
Yeah, I like Caleb Williams. I love how confident he is. And I think he'll be a great player. I think if he craps the bed this year, I'm definitely going to be letting it loose and hating on him this year for confidence.
Yeah, I'm definitely a Caleb Williams hater too. Not gonna lie. I gave him more respect for actually agreeing, because originally the rumor was he was not going to go to the
wanna
draft. The
go
Bears
to
took
Chicago.
him, and I was like, "You're a baby, like you're a child."
Yeah.
I think he had 6 seconds to throw every single snap at USC, and he's not going to have that. Although, I do love. What is the right tackle y'all drafted last year? Darnell.
Darnell Wright.
Darnell Wright. I loved Darnell Wright last year. I was hoping the Bills would have taken him. He didn't get that far, but at least with Caleb Williams is finally the franchise is starting to have some relevant moments. Like even
said that for the last 2
DJ
quarters.
Moore bashing on Caleb Williams, or Caleb Williams pretending like he didn't see Keenan Allen when he was walking into the facility. Like it's just starting to bring some notoriety to the franchise. But I'd beg the question, like, can he even have a bad year? Like, I think this is the best supporting cast any rookie quarterback has had in the history of the NFL
Ever.
going into their first year. How can he have a bad year? What does a bad year even look like for him?
Tell you, but I'll go last.
I mean,
Go ahead, Charles.
me personally, I think he's going to be eaten alive. I think the NFC North defense is going to be unlike anything he's seen.
There's two teams of good defense.
I mean,
How about that D?
even the Minnesota Vikings have a much better defense than anything he saw in the Pac-12.
Wow.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, and when Caleb Williams faced any sort of adversity on the field, he crumbled. Period. I think he was the best quarterback available. I don't think he's worth ownership.
Yeah, I would have taken Drake May. Just me.
I think Jaden Daniels
That's
could be the
Charles.
best quarterback in the draft as well.
Yeah, he's too fucking
He probably will
small.
be.
Jaden
Yeah, he's
Daniels
pretty
runs like
tiny.
a cartoon
He's got
character.
tiny ankles, bro.
Hey, hold on.
Dude,
hold on.
they're sticks. They're sticks.
Charles has this running thing with Jaden Daniels being the smallest quarterback in the draft. And he's like the biggest quarterback in the draft, height-wise.
Look at his ankles, bro.
I don't care
It
about his
reminds me of
ankles.
that roly-oly-poly cartoon.
Yeah,
He
you ever
looks-
see him get hit and he like looks like he's a cartoon character? It's so funny. Yeah,
Get blown up.
that
He's
dude's gonna
going to a
get hit
team
really
that gave
hard.
up 53 sacks last year or something like that.
Hey,
Oh, their offensive line
All
got
right.
better. It got older. It
Yeah,
didn't
they're
get
the,
better.
them and the Tennessee Titans and Washington Commanders. Sorry, I almost got canceled for a second. The Commanders and the Titans are the retirement home of the NFL easily.
Yeah.
oh, yeah, for sure.
Patrick, what's your thoughts on Caleb?
Caleb Williams is he's not going to break that 40 touchdown mark. It wasn't PR, by the way, that actually made those bets. It was the guy that I think I screenshotted and shared we have a group, two and all of us, and we share a bunch of funny shit and stuff all the time. I think Caleb Williams is going to be middle of the road quarterback. Like you said, I don't think he's the best quarterback they could have took. I think that any of those quarterbacks probably would have been better, honestly. Drake May, any of them. Drake May went to the worst situation possible of all the quarterbacks, even Jaden Daniels. I mean, going to New England.
What about JJ?
JJ.
I see the Michigan. I see the Michigan in the background. I already know the
Yeah,
answer.
well, I just like the fact that he led us to a national championship. I don't think he's going to be a great.
Thank you for
NFL
leading us
quarterback,
to
though.
a national
He's
championship.
dead to them now.
Yeah, he plays for the Vikings during the regular season. He's dead to me. I have no idea who you're talking
I
about.
have a Blake Corum jersey, autographed jersey coming. So that's going to go up there in an actual.
Shout out Blake
frame.
Corum. Yep, shout
Love
out
Blake
Corum.
Corum. He's a
Yeah,
beast.
yeah, dude's a dog. Recently engaged.
He might be rookie of the year, like in the
Yeah.
NFL, because I'm sorry,
Wow.
they're going to run him hard. Oh, they will run
yeah.
him hard. He's all they got.
Rams,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Oh, they got Kyron Williams. What are we
What
talking
about
about?
Kyron carried my fantasy team last year.
I don't think
Mine
I don't.
too.
I think he's going to take running RB1.
I
He's
do-
a bigger, beefier. Well, he's not a bigger, but he's 5'8", like freaking 220 pounds. He's a bowling ball.
Yeah,
PR.
Sounds like
I agree.
Devin Singletary
He's,
to me.
he's a touchdown hog for sure. PR, before
Yeah.
we get to your take, I do want to ask one fantasy question. Where do you take Caleb Williams this year, you two?
Never.
Oh,
Nah.
Okay. PR,
he's not
what were
even
you
worth
going
the
to
back.
Sorry, go
Hey,
ahead.
hey.
He's got all that weapons. He's a first. Okay, you're all right.
I
Hey,
will.
if
I'll
I'm-
actually.
He did that on purpose.
I'm gonna do fantasy. I'm gonna do fantasy quarterback rankings right now. I don't want you to guess where he's at.
Oh man, is he on the list? No, I'm kidding.
I don't know.
Shit,
I think-
he's a starter.
I think the only bear I want is maybe Cole Kmet. That's probably it.
Probably.
If I run third string quarterbacks on my fantasy bench, I might consider drafting Caleb Williams.
No, a bunch of
Maybe like a
dickheads.
32-team league. I'll consider Caleb Williams.
You're dickheads.
He might start in the 32, maybe.
You're
I don't know. Gardner Minshew might get that 30-second spot.
Okay, this might surprise some people. All
I'm
right,
not
go
going to be
ahead.
surprised because of the weapons, but I'm going to guess he's probably the 15th ranked fantasy football quarterback.
Ding, ding, ding!
Yeah,
I
that
got it
sounds
right
right.
off the bat.
Wow.
15.
Yeah.
Well,
because
did I not say it's a middle of the road quarterback?
Yeah, because of the weapons. I mean, listen, they're basically telling you a blind monkey can throw the ball to Kyrie Allen or to Keenan Allen
Keenan
and
Allen.
DJ Moore,
And
Mr. Komet. You got old boy in the background, Swift. I mean,
Don't
This is
forget
what I'm
about
saying,
Rome.
though.
Don't be
This is
wrong.
Roma. He's one of my
Yeah.
favorite. This is the
Yeah.
point I'm making, though. Is everyone is quick
Draft
to
dog.
hate on Brock Purdy. Everyone is quick to hate on Tua for their weapons. We're gonna hate on Caleb Williams even if he has a good year because of his weapons. Why is Joe Burrow not get the same attitude from everyone? I don't understand it.
Yeah.
It's the same exact situation as the Dolphins, the Eagles. Niners are a little bit better, but like Dolphins,
Yeah.
Eagles, Bears.
I'll rebuttal the whole Bengals thing. So as far as Caleb Williams goes,
Yeah.
Nate, I'm with you in the sense of I'm not the huge, and we've said this even before he got drafted. I'm not the biggest Caleb Williams fan for the theatrics that go around that surrounds his name before the draft, after the draft, in spring training, OTAs, all that. Like it's a lot.
You don't like the nail polish?
I give two shits about the nail polish. That shit don't faze me. That has nothing to do with throwing the football and playing the game. That part doesn't bother me. When people bring that shit up, it's just weird. But whatever.
They're gonna be giving those pink cell phone cases
my
away.
big issue with Caleb is he's allowing his dad to do too much fucking talking. Way too much talking.
Yeah.
It's like being LeVar Ball and all that shit all over.
Yeah.
Like, hey,
It's like Odell.
like pipe down. Go sit over there. And then two, my expectation for Caleb, one, I'm with you, Nate, when you said that this is probably one of the only rookies that I've known since I've been alive that gets drafted first overall and comes into a stacked offensive team ready for him to expect to be great. How is that going to work? I don't know. Again, because he played in the Pac-12 for the last 2 years, and it was mid. Yes, you won a Heisman. Great. But the NFL is stronger, faster, and bigger. And this is not the Pac-12. Even the sorriest NFL teams still have big dudes coming after you that are very fast.
Look at quarterbacks that were drafted out of the SEC that went up against top 10 defenses every
not
single
just
year.
that.
Struggled. Jalen Hurts. Even right now, Bryce Young.
Yeah.
Again, we got the Lions and the Packers. My expectation, we said this already, I think a few episodes ago. Last year we won 7 games, I believe. I think it was like 5 or 7 games.
Yeah, it was 7 and 9.
If we make a wild card, I'm fine. But my expectation is between 8 and 9 games. That's my expectation. As long as we're progressing and we're getting better, I'm not listen.
That's a real healthy
I'm
mentality.
not delusional. I live in reality. Like listen, yes, we have a stacked team on defense and offense. Yes, on paper. But we ain't done shit yet. So I'm not about to sit on this fucking boat and say, yeah, we're about to win the Super Bowl. How?
Yeah.
Where? You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, and again, we got to get through our division first, before we can even think about anything else right now. And I'm like, yes, the schedule is set for us to start off great. But then again, it's also, I don't trust Eberflus that much yet. Like, he's still, like, I don't even see how he still has a job. And again, we have a rookie quarterback. This is our 3rd quarterback in almost a decade. I'm like,
Let me throw something by you, PR. You lose this season terribly. The head coach gets blamed. Bill Belichick comes in next year.
Oh man,
Are you trying to
it gets worse. It gets worse.
Okay.
It gets worse. It gets worse. It gets worse.
Okay. So let's jump. All right. Let's something quick too, Nate. And you brought up an absolute wonderful point. And to kind of add a little fuel to your fire moving forward with that, if it's super easy throwing to a superstar wide receiver, why did Jimmy Garoppolo have such a hard time with Devontae Adams?
Jimmy Garoppolo went to a Super Bowl, though.
I don't disagree with you. Shanahan could probably bring a pig to the Super Bowl and lose it.
I see your point, but Devontae Adams, and then who's number 2? Hunter Renfrow?
No, I'm agreeing with you. If it was easy, even Garoppolo could have looked a little better with Devontae. So look great with a great wide receiver isn't as easy as people are making it out to be. So
Joe Burrow receivers, 3 of them.
Was old boy that was with Plum,
but I'm
wasn't
saying,
it?
if it was so easy and if Brock Purdy is not that good, Sam Darnold couldn't do shit. Jimmy couldn't do shit.
Trey Lance couldn't beat him
Lance
out.
couldn't do shit. So again, and it's not saying that Brock Purdy is this second coming of Tom Brady or whatever the case is, but the quarterback position is one of the hardest positions in the game.
Does Brock Purdy?
Yes, he has a system that works for him, but he still has to call the plays. He still has to read the defense. He still has to throw these passes. So to say that, he's just assistant quarterback, so is everybody else, bitch.
Yeah, you can't dog him completely, but like I'm also not going to put him up there with just like elite specimens as far as players go. Like if I'm looking at just elite specimens of quarterbacks that can fit systems of multiple types, I've got Mahomes, Herbert, Allen, probably CJ, Jordan Love, Rodgers. Like, and then outside of that, guys fit systems for the most part.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can put Herbert up there yet.
I'm interested to see what
Herbert
Herbert looks
Burrow?
like.
Herbert lost to Allen. Yeah, it's kind of working back.
Herbert lost to Trevor Lawrence after throwing 4 picks. But hey, who am I?
T-Law's trash too.
T-Law's trash.
He's $256 million worth of trash.
Harbaugh got JJ McCarthy drafted 5th. Harbaugh got JJ McCarthy drafted what 5th or 6th overall. I mean,
I
think he slid.
I'm not trusting in Herbert because
he did too. 10th or 11th. That's right.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, Herbert's never had the opportunity to have pieces around him like other quarterbacks like the best have. So I mean, it's going to be a big year.
I don't know if I can put him top 5 quarterback right now in the league. That's a reach.
The most comfortable thought we can have against Cincinnati is that somewhere in that jungle pit they keep getting turf toe and they can't play the whole year anyways. So,
hey, we have to. They are forcing the Bengals, cheap organizations, to put real grass on every piece.
What
of
organization is cheap at this point?
Arizona and Kansas City seem to be the cheapest, but Cincinnati's coming in screaming, "Hold my beer! We put Bengals in the jungle." All right, Patrick, hit us with your top 5.
All right. Well, I think there's consensus around here with everybody. It's Kansas City number 1. It's freaking the 49ers, unfortunately, number 2. Number 3, actually, is the one that slips my mind the most. Oh crap! I had my list up here, Charles.
You're thinking of the Raiders?
No, not the Raiders.
I love how you said, unfortunately, when mentioning the 49ers. I'm not a...
No, I have Baltimore. I have Baltimore number 3. The Buffalo Bills number 4. I believe that I don't think the Stephon Diggs thing is going to make a difference. And I've got number 5. I actually had Cincinnati Bengals. And I got Green Bay on the outside looking in at number 6, and number 7 is Detroit Lions.
I like that. I like Buffalo on the list. I do think Buffalo's going to do well. I think their schedule helps them out this year.
Buffalo and Cincinnati both have schedules that I believe are going to help them out different.
The Bills have the 3rd hardest schedule, though.
On paper.
On paper.
Yeah. Looking in a who
every
I think
team's
is going to
one
fall
injury.
left and right.
Like Miami's one injury away from being a terrible football team.
Miami's one concussion away.
Yeah. I really think Buffalo's schedule is going to help. I'm on the firm believing side of a hard schedule. I love being in the top 10 of a firm schedule because you become battle tested. Your losses mean more than they do
it'll help
your
you in
wins
the playoffs
mean more.
once you get to the playoffs.
And it helps you in the playoffs. As a Green Bay Packer fan, we've had multiple instances where we, due to schedule and injuries, yada yada, we've walked into the playoffs and we end up getting choked out in the first game or choked out after the bye.
That was missing off of that list that I think the NFL is shading everybody towards. It's the Philadelphia Eagles. I don't think a lot of people have much faith in that team after what happened to them, the self-destruct that happened last season.
Yeah, I don't either. But I do. I like your list. I think it's very realistic. Anybody got anything they want to add to that list? Or
I love that list.
All right.
It's a good list. Good list. Are we moving on to the next list, or is when you say add on to it, do you mean?
No, I just any comments or any takes?
Oh,
I think we already bashed everybody else's the people, the teams off of the list that we didn't want on the list anyway. So.
No, that's perfectly fine. I just
go ahead.
I like everyone to have their time. So that's all that was. So Bailey, let's hear your list. On my screen
actually,
is just how I'm calling it.
Yeah, you know what? Actually, I do have something to say about your honorable mention being the Detroit Lions. I think the Lions are going to go to the Super Bowl this year. I think they're all around so strong.
Do we got a pre-take dark horse? Is that what I'm hearing right now? Is your dark horse the Detroit Lions?
I don't even see the Lions as a dark horse. I see the Lions easily. I see them easily as the best team in the NFC over the 49ers. I do.
Yeah.
They almost had them last year.
The only way that doesn't happen is that they slip up and they have to go through Lambeau to go to in the playoffs, and they have to go through Green Bay, because it doesn't matter how good Detroit is. In Green Bay, they will not win that football game. It's
great
just
game.
they
Let
are so.
Detroit
They are,
buy that many
I'm saying they
tickets
are
next
so
time.
cursed as a team that they will not win that game. It's like the Dallas game all over again.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true. I'm a firm believer in curses and people have your number, especially as a Bengals fan. We can't beat the Browns. Why?
Because
why?
you have a jungle pit, bro. It's
Yeah.
an anomaly. I'm telling you, we
jungle
need to
pit.
write it.
It doesn't work.
It
And the
doesn't
Browns
work.
got an elf on their field.
Yeah, we got. Yeah, we're one of the upcoming episodes. We're gonna do top 5 sports
Isn't
fans.
it the rabbit
Yeah.
pushing the shopping cart too with the helmet? Yeah.
Oh man, it's so crazy. But
Yeah, but
I do.
was gonna say, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Yeah, just for my top 5.
Yeah.
Honestly, they're so interchangeable, so
Yes.
don't take it too serious. But obviously, number 1, I'm going to start with the Chiefs. Back-to-back champs.
Okay.
Whether I think Mahomes is bailed out in certain situations, which I do or not, they are the back-to-back Super Bowl champions. I got to put them at 1 until someone beats them and dethrones them. Like you said, it's the world against the Chiefs. Number 2, I'm going to have to put the Lions at 2. If I were to make an educated prediction, bias aside, I wasn't a Bengals fan. Every year, my Super Bowl pick for the AFC is the Bengals. The last 3 years, at least.
Yeah.
And I accept I'm delusional a little bit, maybe a lot of it. But
Which is understandable for the Lions, but go ahead.
yeah, and the other point I was going to make about the Lions was Jameson Williams only played for half the season, and he started to break out.
He's garbage.
Huge touchdown against the 49ers in the NFC Championship game, I believe. And went up 2 scores. Dan Campbell, everyone knows, kind of ruined the game for the team.
Kept running.
You know, when you're so bought
3 games a year.
into a mentality of, hey, we're going for it on 4th in certain situations, we're gonna bite your kneecaps.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone buys into it. You know what I mean?
Are we?
Well, yeah.
Do we all believe that Laporta's the best player on that team, like offensively?
I like Gibbs, too.
He's a dog.
Gibbs.
I like Gibbs.
Yeah.
Gibbs and Laporta are probably being both of them as rookies.
Well, Laporta broke the rookie tight end record. Like, he's going to be good for a long
He
time.
saved a whole bunch of fantasy leagues. I know that.
He is in a system that benefits him definitively.
People can say I don't know ball, and that's a lot of the comments I get on the Cup Check TikTok. But the fact of the matter is, before fantasy last year, I told every single person that Sam Laporta was going to be the best tight end in football. I took him in the second to last round in our league, my league with Bailey, and then I took Jared Goff in the last round. Bailey was dogging on me for both of the picks. Goff and Laporta carried me.
You want to know what's funny, though? The same people that are dogging you in your comment section on TikTok are the same people that are going to be going back to that when their fantasy draft is due.
Like, look what he did.
Yeah. You got to make some fantasy
I made the
videos.
playoffs. I just shit the bed. That's okay.
Okay, so you had the Detroit Lions at number 2.
Yeah, Detroit Lions at number 2. And one quick point about the Lions as well.
Go ahead.
Amon-Ra St. Brown is a top 5 receiver in the league easily.
Dog.
Easily.
Numbers
That's
wise.
I disagree.
But
I
don't want to
think
get
he's
too
the
deep
next
into
Stephon
it.
Diggs,
We all have our disagreements about that. But yeah, Chiefs, Lions, and then for number 3 is really tough. I'm gonna approach this list as you guys did, not barring injury.
Yeah.
The Eagles
did not see that.
I didn't see that coming either.
Putting some pieces around in their offense. Say as bad as the experiment with DeAndre Swift was last year, it was working for a little bit. And I think Saquon Barkley was in a really tough situation with New York. And
the game
didn't have pieces around him. I know Jason Kelsey retired, but that line is strong. I think Saquon Barkley is going to take a lot of load off of Jalen Hurts.
He's not the workhorse that he doesn't have to be the workhorse in Philly.
Yeah.
So
And he did say he approached it with the thought process that everyone stays healthy. So a healthy Eagles team at number 3.
Scary team.
Yeah, is very scary.
If anyone's wondering, Saquon Barkley doesn't tip at restaurants, in case you were wondering. I may or may not have had him.
Well, he hasn't been getting paid a lot lately, so.
Nate has actually seen a lot of professional athletes.
Yep. Last time O.J. Simpson was in Buffalo, I saw him.
Hell yeah. That's so cool.
Did he try to tip you with his autograph?
You guys just realized
he tried to tip somebody with his autograph one time.
No, but I was wearing gloves on my hands to serve because I had cuts on my hands, and they were black gloves, and like multiple tables, not at his table, were calling me over and being like, you should go see if OJ will sign one of the gloves. I was like, I'm not going to do that.
No.
I'm in heaven right now. utilizing the 6th degree theory, I have now met O.J. Simpson. So thank you, Nate. That's so awesome. That's so awesome. Hell yeah. Six man theory. That's fantastic.
Yeah. Someone was telling me
Yeah,
about
so-
that the other day too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just because this 5 is so interchangeable, it's really hard because
Yeah.
I'm thinking of a lot of teams. I'm thinking of the Bills. I'm thinking of the Ravens.
Yep.
And this is more of a reason that I'm not pulling injury into this
Mm-hmm.
because if Greenlaw doesn't get injured in that Super Bowl, I think the Niners win.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
for sure, they win that Super
Yeah.
Bowl.
I gotta put the Niners in there.
Yep.
And then it's such a toss-up for me between the Bengals and the Jets.
Okay.
And I've been very biased so far on
Yeah.
this episode. So I'll
Mhm.
put the Jets there, I guess. If Aaron Rodgers can stay healthy, I doubt it. But
Yeah.
health is
Here's
not
the
a-
thing: that offensive
health is not a
line is
conversation.
trash.
Right.
So,
Right. So even healthy, we now all on this show, Nate. I wasn't sure if you were aware, but Bailey does go to darkness retreats because you got to be that crazy to come out here talking about old man Aaron Rodgers.
agree with that.
Aaron.
Hey, Bailey, you getting to my ayahuasca stash out there or what?
There's no way.
Hey, ever since I started going to ayahuasca, I started getting some Aaron Rodgers.
That's what I'm saying. He averaged a little less than 217 yards when he a game when he managed to stay on the field. I mean, after his MVP season, Aaron Rodgers is old, and he plays like it for the most part.
Yeah, he
But
averaged 6.3 seconds on the field last year.
I just
Go ahead.
have
Yeah.
one question for Bailey.
What's up?
So how was it?
How was what?
Darkness.
How was the darkness?
I understand where Aaron is coming from. Where
But
he
there's
says
no
he
way
can't-
you trust that offensive line and that field.
No.
Well, I mean,
Hey.
to his point, the defense and the offensive weapons that Aaron Rodgers has been able to utilize when he has them, I mean, depending on the coaching staff, yeah, I think the New York Jets could be a formidable team.
But this
Yeah.
is the reason I put the Jets over the Bengals.
Yeah.
Bengals defense was terrible last year. And
Yeah.
the Jets defense was insane. And they just didn't. They had Zach Wilson. Like, what do you
Yeah.
do?
And how
They
does
might have
Hendricks
only
come
won
back?
2 games last year if it wasn't for that defense.
What's up?
They might have only won 2 games last year if it wasn't for their defense.
I don't.
Yeah,
I don't
their
know if I
defense is
trust that
elite.
field. I don't know if I trust that line for him yet.
Yeah.
Tyron Smith?
Well, that's if they can get 60% snaps a game, 65% snaps a game from the old veterans they just picked up, and yeah, I mean, in theory, in the health theory that we utilize on paper,
They,
And then-
in my eyes, are a 10-win team.
yeah, I mean,
Oh, yeah, totally. You could totally see that. And
They're in a
that's
tough
because of,
division too.
Yeah.
yeah,
and that's because of health. But I was also going to answer PR's question real quick.
yeah,
How was the darkness?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think Aaron Rodgers was able to not feel pain just because after taking so many shrooms and being in darkness retreats, you kind of lose your mind. So I understand how
He's got to have a
He'll have
robo. Like,
consciousness
that's
and
got to
pain.
be steel or artificial.
Oh,
something
that
type-
thing's
in
probably
that-
got
in that
tungsten. There's
Achilles.
something in
There's
there.
Or-
no way in hell.
Hey,
Come
or
back
he's
after
just
6 months from an
Hey,
or
Achilles.
he's just
That
super
ain't-
high all the time.
Hey, I understand why there's a lot of hate coming for the greatest of all time right now because we got
Oh,
2 guys
no.
whose franchise he bailed on and one whose PR.
Listen,
Isn't Aaron
listen,
Rodgers
I
a part owner of the Bears
I
or no?
drafted
Does he own
him
the Bears?
Listen, I drafted him in my fantasy league. That's
Okay.
that's how much it hurt me to draft him. But I know
Hey,
that he's good. But it's
fact
just
of the
right
matter
here,
is-
right now.
You can't doubt him. You can't ever
No,
doubt
I
him
can't-
because he's
I
the greatest
can't
to ever
doubt
throw a
Patrick.
football.
I
Yeah.
can't doubt Patrick Mahomes. I can doubt Aaron Rodgers.
as I say, in NFL, it's not what have you done for me. It's what, or not even what have you done for me lately. It's what are you doing for me right now. And Aaron
Like 3
Rodgers
years
right
ago, he
now-
won back-to-back MVPs.
Yeah,
That's
but
3
2
years
years
he
ago,
also was playing on a real field.
but 2 years ago, he only averaged 217 yards a game.
That live
and-
curve is killer.
And
Listen,
last
I'm
year,
telling you.
he averaged 17 seconds of playtime, period.
That's
Listen,
longer than me
that-
as far as average.
Listen,
Yeah.
artificial turf
yeah.
and real grass clearly makes a gigantic difference.
Did MetLife
Hey,
take out
I would love to break some
three
news for you
starters
guys.
last year?
Yeah,
Go for
what's
it.
up? Break
Vikings
news.
wide receiver Jordan Addison was arrested on suspicion of drunk driving after
Yep.
being caught asleep at the wheel near LAX.
Hey,
Bro,
we're
and
in
they
the
just-
33rd.
time I broke
He's
news
just-
on a podcast.
He was just visiting.
The Bills can count themselves in for the 33rd overall pick right now. That's
Yeah.
why
Well, yeah.
I love that trade because it might be a borderline first-round pick.
Well,
Wow,
there
that's That's crazy because, especially considering they
JJ
just had an individual lose their life to drinking and driving. That old
Yeah.
boy thought that it would
I
be
can
okay
never
for him to go out there.
I just can't wrap my mind around these kids. Y'all are literally getting paid to play a game as
Yeah.
a job.
Well, not only that,
and
you
y'all
just
are
said
risking it over dumb shit.
You just said LAX, so he was literally he got caught at the airport of all places too.
You telling me you
That's
can't afford
stupid.
somebody to do shit for you, take you where you need to go? Like, why are you
PR,
doing
it's
dumb
ego.
stuff?
It's ego. It's 100%
You know what?
ego. It
Fuck
has nothing to
that.
do with that.
No,
we
that's called
need to
stupid.
create a celebrity Uber. Maybe that's the problem. Maybe they
Seriously.
just don't want to be
Go for it.
berated
That's
by
fine.
Ubers.
I'll work. I'll drive.
That's
for
what
them.
I'm saying.
Call me. I will
Call
come
me.
get you.
If you're ever around Green Bay, Wisconsin, you
I
call
just
the
don't
the
get it,
boys
like,
of the woods.
you-
We got you.
They
Like,
probably
what's
won't
the
tip
point?
it.
guys are just doing some of
Yeah.
the most dumbest things, and I'm just confused. Like, you guys are getting paid millions, and not just football players. I'm talking about athletes, male or female. You guys get paid to have an entourage to do the dumb shit for you.
Wasn't
Why
it
are you
Marshawn
getting
Lynch
caught
in
doing
his
dumb
Lambo or
shit?
something? Was it
Marshawn
Marshawn Lynch
Lynch.
the last one where he was passed out in his
Yeah.
Lamborghini or something?
One of the
I
most
just-
recent
Yeah, I
ones.
was gonna say that's probably why he didn't order Uber because I think maybe he.
I think the
that's-
cop was the one that opened the door.
I'm
Yeah, the
poor,
cop opened
and I
the
don't
door
wanna
and he was
risk
still
my life.
sleeping.
But
Yeah,
I just
dispatched at about 11:10 p.m. Friday to a report of a disabled vehicle blocking lanes on a freeway. Officers responding to the area
Damn.
reported a
Not
white
a
Rolls
goddamn
Royce.
highway.
Yeah, a white Rolls Royce blocking the #1 lane on the freeway, with the driver asleep behind the wheel. Wow.
What a moron.
At 11
Pull
o'clock
over.
is kind of
Go
impressive.
pull
to be
over on
honest.
the shoulder or
you
something.
mean to
11
tell me not a damn
Yeah,
person
bottle
got out the
service.
car to check who it is and was like, "Yo, that's one of our wide receivers. Get him in the car. We got to get him out of here." You guys suck as football fans.
Man.
Well, it was in LA though.
It was
There's not
LA.
many real
Oh
football
yeah, yeah,
fans in
yeah.
LA.
You're right.
But
You're
that's some
absolutely
shit.
right.
Like,
They have teams
that's-
leave and go all the time. Yeah.
That's just dumb, though.
They don't
Yeah,
deserve
Like,
two teams.
No, God,
They
no.
barely deserve one.
Yeah.
I'm not even going to the Olympics because they're over there. Like, it blows my mind.
Oh, so
the
you're
Olympics
stealing
are
that from
over there.
LeBron.
Yeah.
That's
Who
what
did?
LeBron said.
Is it?
LeBron said he won't be in LA for the Olympics, and everyone's going crazy because like.
Like, he's
you're
gonna
saying-
be old. He's gonna be like 45.
I
Yeah.
just don't like the air. If I wanted to smell farts, I'd do it in my own house. It's way
That's
cheaper.
true. And the
Yeah,
bars
I'm
are
not-
only open till like 1 o'clock.
And the Cash App owner got stabbed.
No, I'm good.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, that was a
I swear
wild.
to God, dude.
He knows
I
a
got
lot of
gray in my
things.
beard,
Dude.
bro. I watch
Hey,
the news. It's
Have you
dumb.
guys ever watched Sunday Conversations Caleb Presley Aaron Rodgers interview before?
No.
It's
No.
so funny
Oh,
because
yeah, the Caleb
yeah,
Presley
he
one.
asked
yeah.
Aaron Rodgers, he's like, what's one way to piss off a Wisconsinite? And Aaron starts to think about it and is about to answer, and he's like, Caleb Presley's like, bars closed? And Aaron Rodgers like, yeah, that too.
Oh,
or you
man.
could pull a Jordan Love.
Yeah, okay, so I'll let you guys in on the story. So we went, the Green Bay Packers, Donald Driver had a softball charity tournament, and before Donald, it was Brett Favre's. And this year, Donald retired and handed it to
Yeah,
the
but Brett Favre stole
Jordan
all the
Love's.
money. So
That's allegedly. Jordan
Allegedly.
Love, that's allegedly. Now it got handed over to the 10 Love, or Hands of Love organization.
Hands of Love Foundation.
Yeah, Hands of Love Foundation, Jordan Love. So Wayne Larrabee, one of the legendary radio personalities around here, was asking him some questions, and it was yes or no, basically, and Jordan Love was asked in front of, I don't know, 19, 20,000 Wisconsinites. Okay, so there's 19 to 20,000 of us there to watch football players play softball. That's what it is. It's not a great game. They're football players, right?
It's real fans
so
right there.
we're just fans of football there. And old boy gets on the mic and Wayne goes, "Do you like cheese curds?" And Jordan Love said no. And every single effing person in that stadium booed. All of us. All of us. I'm like, what do you... And then the very next question was, "Do you like pineapple on pizza?" And he was like, "Yes." And I'm like, oh my God.
Hey, what's
This
wrong with
is-
pineapple on pizza though?
That's disgusting.
I like it. The two of these guys are they just
That's-
want to
I'm from
That's-
California, so I'm not gonna respond to that one. But I think you
Yeah.
guys know how I
Well,
feel about it.
Yeah.
No.
It's-
That's
It's kind of
For the
similar
fir-
to Bills players when they get drafted, they take them out for wings, and like
Yeah.
they all get it with ranch just because they've never had good wings before. I still get my
Yeah.
wings with ranch, but people in Buffalo will hound you for that. I was at a Bills
What are
backer
you
bar.
supposed to eat it with?
Blue
Blue
cheese.
cheese.
Jeez,
Say that-
man.
That's
Blue
fucking
cheese.
disgusting.
Yeah, I got called out as a fake Buffalo person when I was in California
you're
at a
fake,
Bills
buddy.
backer bar. he saw me get wings and he's like, "Is that ranch?" And I was like, "Yep."
Yeah.
And he's like, "Bro, you'll never understand what it's like to be from Buffalo." And I was like, "I literally live there. Like, I'm not from California like you. That's like visited Buffalo a couple times. Like, I
Blue
literally live
cheese
there."
It's not good on anything.
Blue cheese.
man.
It's definitely an acquired
Sorry.
taste.
Yeah, isn't
for
that
sure.
like just ranch and mold? Isn't that what
No,
blue
like
cheese
no,
is?
mold.
no, 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 no,
Moldy
no. It's a
cheese.
cheese.
Yeah.
It's a cheese.
Isn't it? I think it's
moldy
mold.
cheese.
It's
Yeah.
It's mold. If it was
Ranch
mold,
and
you'd be in deep. You'd be in deep shit.
It's the edible type of mold, but it still stinks.
It's the edible type of
No,
mold.
listen, I don't look up how to make gummy bears. I understand why people don't look up how to make blue cheese. It's mold.
Good point.
That's a good point.
Moving on. Nate, hit us with your top. Wait a minute. Bailey, I don't think we. Yeah.
No, I got
Bailey,
it. Yeah,
okay, so we went through your.
Yeah, Jets were my 5 just because of that defense. So.
Okay,
How about that
okay.
D, baby?
The Jets were your 5.
Yeah,
Okay, so we had the Chiefs at number 1, the Lions at number 2. Who did we put at number 3? The
Eagles.
Philadelphia.
The Philadelphia Eagles. That's
healthy.
right. And then you had the 49ers. And one thing that did the Ravens. How do you feel about the Ravens?
So
You know
the
how he
Ravens
feels.
so I know the Ravens very well because I follow.
He's a hater.
And I mean, I have so much respect for Lamar, 2-time MVP.
Yeah,
But,
he's a really good running back.
They lost Patrick Queen.
Yes.
He's on the Steelers now, and
Yeah.
they lost Geno Stone. He's on Cincinnati now. So those are like very. I mean, their defense is.
They got no run game.
Those players made them.
Losing
one of the
Queen
best-
definitely hurts.
Yeah, and they took like 2 or 3 more shots after those 2 that I mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
So they're not going to be the same team, and they
Well,
don't
they're not
have
gonna be the
Russell
same.
Wilson.
They won't be able to same run stopping team.
Yeah, and they're. Correct me if I'm wrong, but
Not
I
without
think
Geno.
their defensive coach is not in Baltimore anymore. So now they have a completely new defensive scheme, new players coming in. It's just not going to be as dominant as it was. And I also do want to say for the Bengals, just because AFC North, it came up in my mind. The only reason I'm so high on the Bengals because I am smart about the health of Burrow and he's gotten injured too much. But the Bengals have a very, very easy schedule this year. It's almost like I call the Philadelphia Eagles season when they played the Chiefs in the Super Bowl a Mickey Mouse run. Like they were smoking terrible.
Oh
teams.
boy!
But you know, what team like the Cincinnati
glad Mike's
Bengals
not
gets
here.
last place in the AFC North and gets that last place schedule? So they're
Right.
going to take advantage of that this year, I think.
Well, and to your point, when Cincinnati was at full strength, they did beat Patrick Mahomes. So, and that seems to be the AFC Super Bowl right now. The way the media talks about it, the way Patrick Mahomes has been dominating it. That's why if it's not Kansas City, I don't see the Super Bowl going to the AFC this year because of the emotional mountain that will partake in beating Patrick Mahomes. The awards that are basically going to be handed and not earned after beating Patrick Mahomes. It's going to be assumed
but let me
that
say
that
this.
team. Yes.
Yeah, and that's so true for most other teams in the AFC, but you have to remember, the Bengals are 3-1 against the Chiefs.
That's what I'm saying.
That mental
Yeah.
block for all the other teams in the AFC, it doesn't apply to the Bengals because they know they could beat Kansas City.
Now that one loss came in the playoffs, though, right?
You're right.
Okay, all right. But this is a regular season list, and I do crown Lamar Jackson as one of the greatest regular season quarterbacks of all time. That's why I had him at number 1. But I love the list. And I love the enthusiasm. Nate, hit us with your list.
All right, yeah. So I'm gonna go 5-1 if that works for
That
you,
works
just to
perfect.
switch it up.
Yeah.
So a couple teams that just missed out for me. I have the Jets. I'm not doubting Rodgers necessarily. I'm doubting his health, if anything. And I think that Jets team is loaded up on paper, kind of like what PR was saying. But at the end of the day, they're in a tough division. They do. I mean, the Jets, out of any team in the NFL, that has Josh Allen's number, it's the Jets. So I'm not as worried about the Bills as far as the Jets go, but the Dolphins could take them for a win. I mean, they're not playing a last place schedule like the Bengals, like Bailey just said. So I'm not really sure I see them finishing super high. I have the Bengals just on the outside too. Same reason, basically. Tough schedule. I don't know if Burrow's going to get hurt. He's had 4 major injuries in 4 years played in the NFL. They've all been different. This injury is the same injury, the calf one, or that happened to Mike Trout before he went out. And Mike Trout has had knee and leg injuries on that same side the past 5-6 years. And this is a guy we were talking about being the best baseball player of all time.
Yeah.
All of a sudden,
Yeah.
he's done. Like,
Yeah.
he has enough talent to keep the name flowing and the buzz going, but at the end of the day, Mike Trout's done. Like, he's cooked.
Like a
I have
tear
them
is
just
a
on the
fifth one.
outside. I honestly, this is kind of one of the, I don't want to jump too far as teams I'm excited about, but this is low-key a sleeper for me, just outside of the top 5. I think the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to have a really great year. And it's one of my bigger shocks because the Pittsburgh Steelers have it all going on outside of the quarterback. If they trade for Brandon Ayuk, I think they have a very good chance of winning the AFC North. Now, they're in a tough division, so that's why I have them outside of my top 5. But at 5, I have the Buffalo Bills. I think the Bills team is depleted, especially on the defensive side. I question Von Miller. I question the new safety tandem. One thing I will never question until he proves me otherwise is Josh Allen. And to have the security of that is very nice as a fan, but it's also frustrating because you're like, get that dude some damn help. And I think the receiving core will be better this year. I think, was it Charles, you were saying that you think the Diggs thing won't be an issue? I completely agree. Diggs was horrible the second half of the year last year as soon as Joe Brady took over offensive play calling duties. And I think not having the pressure of having to force feed it to one player is going to help a player like Josh Allen a lot. A player that's not as pinpoint accurate on the mid-range short passes as some of these pocket passers are. When he feels like he has to force it and he gets tunnel vision in on someone like Diggs, it just messes with someone like him. I'm really worried for the Texans and how Diggs may disrupt their receiver room. I'm not saying Keon Coleman is the savior. I expect about 550 yards out of him this year. I think he's a very good zone beater. I think he's going to catch the football. I love Curtis Samuel. I think he's going to catch the football, maybe give a little bit more yak than they're used to in recent years. And Dalton Kincaid, if I have any say after last year as far as tight end sleepers for fantasy, if Dalton Kincaid doesn't finish as a top 3 fantasy tight end, I will be shocked. He's going to get the ball a lot.
Oh yeah.
I think
I have the Bills
going
at
to be
5.
his breadwinner.
Yeah, for sure. At number 4, I mean, the rest of this list is kind of boring because you've already said all the teams. Number 4, I'm going to put the Chiefs. I don't have them as high because, to be honest, they never start the season hot. I could see them losing to Cincinnati. Is it week 2? I could see them starting the season 0-2. And that's what's great about the Chiefs and Andy Reid especially, and it's what was great about Belichick with the Patriots. It doesn't really matter how you start. They're kind of just playing with their food at the end of the day. And they're in a division where they can afford to do that, unfortunately, which sucks because every team is butchering themselves. And that's one of my biggest arguments whenever I get into Tom Brady, not to digress too far, but he was playing in the worst division ever over a 15-year span, and he just got to beat up on trash. Ryan Tannehill, Mark Sanchez, Ryan Fitzpatrick, EJ Manuel. Like, he's just beating up on trash. He's guaranteed the first or the second seed. That was back when there was a bye for the first and the second seed. So he always went into the playoffs with a bye, always had home field advantage. All he had to do was beat Peyton one time each year, or Big Ben.
Years. Him and Peyton Manning have had the same career as far as the terrible division.
Well, the AFC was real weak when Brady was playing too. There was like 1 or 2 good teams.
So weak. And it was just a cakewalk every year to the Super Bowl. Then you give 2 weeks for the best coach of all time to scheme up, and it's like, it's easy. That's an easy win for me. So I have the Chiefs at 4. I love Andy Reid. I love what he does for him. Can't doubt Mahomes, but I have 3 teams higher than them. The next one that I have is the Detroit Lions. I love the Lions. They're one of my favorites going into the year. They're just loaded. I mean, Jahmyr Gibbs, I love the running back tandem. As much as I think Amon-Ra St. Brown isn't as good as Bailey thinks, I think he is a benefit of a scheme a lot, but he fits the scheme really well, and he does his job. He does what he's supposed to do. So I like him a lot. And I'm just realizing now that I wrote the Niners twice on this list, so apparently you're getting my top 4.
Hey,
because I think the 49ers are easily the best team in football. I don't think it's close. I think if they don't trade Ayuk, it's definitely not close. They're the definition of selling out for this season. I love Ricky Pearsall, and I was hoping he'd slip in the second to the Bills. Got drafted in the first, and everyone was like, who is this white boy? And I was like, he's a dog. He's a dog. I love his tape. I think he was way better than McConkey. I don't love that he's only a slot receiver type archetype, but, I mean, just weapons for Purdy. It doesn't, even if he goes out, I don't think it matters who steps in. It's just weapons. Like, and the defense is crazy. So I got the Niners.
It's a system. Yeah. I mean, I love Shanahan's system. I mean, it's disgusting to me that his only win while losing is to the Green Bay Packers, and a special teams play or a tackle here. We don't have to talk about that as much as we will for the rest of my life. But I think Shanahan comes from a fantastic coaching tree with his dad and all that scenario. Despite his shortfalls, he knows how to coach, and he puts his players in position to be giving 110% all the time. And it's that extra 10% when you're willing to give it that gets you to play. And it's what Purdy brought to the table over the other quarterbacks that have tried, in my opinion.
Yeah. It wasn't at strip clubs like Trey Lance.
Yeah. I mean, and you can tell, and that's something that I love to see. Most recently with the Brewers and Tobias Harris. I mean, the dude pitches, and then for the next 5 days, he's pitching, eating pitching, walking pitching, sleeping pitching. It's why he's been doing so good. And it's why I get so effing pissed off at kickers in the NFL. I go on rants about kickers all the time. You got one effing job, and you should be doing it all damn day at practice. But yet every single time there's a camera, you're in the background laughing with your placeholder, not doing your damn job. And then come game time, you miss a kick, and you're like, oh, it must have been the wind. No, you suck at your practice.
Hey, and to that point,
It's true.
The reason the Bengals lost the Super Bowl is because Evan McPherson didn't go back in the locker room. He wanted to watch Snoop Dogg perform. I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
It wasn't because Burrow doesn't have a fourth quarter touchdown in his life in the playoffs? That wasn't it?
Bailed out Burrow.
Okay.
Charles is bringing this up because of the whole the Packers should have beat the Lions. The Packers should have beat the 49ers.
They definitely should have beat the 49ers.
The 49ers, they blew that 49ers
They
game.
blew that game. That was Jordan Love's coming out game, too.
Yeah.
But
I
mean,
and
give
I
all
don't
the credit
blame
in the world to 49ers DBs, and that Greenlaw was a freaking dog. So I mean,
and I don't
it is
blame the
what it
last
is.
throw. I don't blame it at all, to be honest with you. I've watched Aaron
Desperation.
Rodgers make that throw. I've watched Brett Favre make that throw, and this dude has been watching both of them for a really long time. So it made sense.
Yep.
I do. I enjoy the list. I absolutely respect it. The thing I love the most about the list is where you have the Kansas City Chiefs. I as well do not have them as the number one team, only because what they've done is already impossible. To do it again seems improbable. PR, hit us with your list.
My list is probably going to get laughed at, and it won't be the first time.
You better not have the friggin' Bears on there.
They're not even sniffing the top 20.
All right, well then I'm fine with it. I'm good.
You'll be fine. You'll be fine.
Right, coming in at number one, the Green Bay Packers. God damn.
Not even a little bit.
No, sorry.
So for me, I agree with Nate. The 49ers by far, on paper, offensive, defensively, are the most talented team on the field pretty much every game. It's literally their game to lose. If they lose, it's because they fucked it up. But they have every chance to win every game because they're the most talented team. So I'm like, the Chiefs just seem. I'm with you on Nate. They start off bad, and it's just last year alone. You lost to the Lions in week 1 on prime time for everybody and their mother to see.
Because Pat Mahomes can't throw the football anybody.
And it's
Or
not
Contavious Tony can't catch.
That was a pick.
But I'm saying, and I'm not
Tony's
taking
out of the
them.
league, so
49ers are my number one. Like I feel like it's a no-brainer for me. My second team, I might throw up when I say this. It's going to be the Lions. I feel like they're the most out next to the Niners. I'm like, they're just scary. As long as they don't shit the bed and do lion things, they should be a dominant team this year.
well, the coach needs to not get in his own head this year.
Correct. He needs to learn from last year's because he should have kept running because they could have beat the 49ers last year in the NFC Championship.
Should have.
I'm not surprised they lost in the Super Bowl. They shouldn't have even made it twice.
So that's it. And then my third team is the Chiefs. That's my third team. I just feel like, yes, they need to be in the top 5 conversation period. Just again, they're back-to-back champions. So I'm like, like Bailey said, until you beat them, I'm like, they've proven to be the best team in football for 2 years in a row. Like, clearly nobody has figured it out. Yeah, you might have figured it out in the regular season, but you haven't figured it out when it counts, which is the playoffs. And my fourth team, I'm going to put the Eagles because I'm with Bailey. If they're healthy, with adding Barkley in that backfield with what they already have, it's like CMC is for San Francisco. It's very scary. It's very intimidating to have a running back like that. Granted, I know he has his leg injury, but he still was the only offense that the Giants had for the last 7 years, and he was still producing when he was able to get the ball. And he's a fucking asset, catching, blocking, running, like he could do it all. So he's Philly's version of CMC, and that with their defense and their already stacked offensive weapons, like the Eagles healthy, keyword healthy, it's a scary team. My fifth team is the Texans. I hear what y'all say about Diggs, but I still think they're gonna figure it out. And
If Tank Dell comes back healthy,
I think they'll be able to figure it out. My two honorary teams, because I couldn't just pick one, it's the Bills and the Packers. How you want to place them, that's between y'all. But I feel like Jordan Love is in the same boat as CJ Stroud is. That young talent that he has, they can go far. As long as the coaching calls the right plays and they're able to play how they played last year, but actually close out games completely, Jordan Love can take the Packers possibly to the Super Bowl this year. Like, it's a very possible chance. And with the Bills, I'm like, as much as I talk shit about Josh Allen, it's Josh fucking Allen. Like,
I don't talk shit.
Real.
It's his interceptions that I can't get over. It's the Brett Favre thing. It's
Even
a great quarterback.
over 3 years in a row.
But even with that, offensively, the Bills would be shit without Josh Allen.
Well, Josh Allen is
easily a 0-win team.
Unfortunately, Josh Allen probably towards the end of his career, I can see him not being in a Buffalo Bills uniform.
This is
because he's going to be that. The demand is going to be that high for him.
This is the thing.
Well, I know, but it hurts your feelings is knowing that you've got an elite quarterback.
Nate, I mean this with the most respect and admiration for Josh Allen, but there's a very, 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 very good chance that Josh Allen can go down as the next Dan Marino.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think that's a dig though, in the sense
and
that
not saying Dan Marino's bad, but as far as like having all these opportunities, being this great, having all these numbers.
Well, he really is Dan Marino. And if you compare quarterbacks, honestly, if you want to compare, a lot of times I think now that Lamar's won his second MVP and that Stroud is going and Love's starting to go, I don't really think Burrow is in the top 3 anymore. But for a while there, the big 3 was Burrow, Allen, Mahomes. If you want to relate that to 3 quarterbacks that were big a time ago, Josh Allen is Dan Marino because he has all the talent in the world. He was probably the most talented of the 3. His team sucked. He put up numbers, didn't have a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Joe Burrow is Jim Kelly in the sense that team is loaded around him. He's a very good operator, but at the end of the day, he had Andy Reid. He had Thurman Thomas. You know, he had weapons around him to help him facilitate, and he still had success. He just didn't close the door. And John Elway is Pat Mahomes because John Elway had a lot of talent, probably not as close to Marino, but he had help around him, and he was very successful and won a lot of Super Bowls.
Well, you can do Lamar Jackson too. You compare him to Donovan McNabb. I mean, they get to the playoffs, they get there,
but they can't pull the trigger.
Yeah. Well, I would have compared Lamar probably to like O.J. Simpson, maybe, as far as like just best running backs of the era. But
best running backs of the era.
I mean, I thought you were gonna go Brady, Manning, and then Marino, but I guess we're throwing Jim Kelly in there.
Well, to be honest,
played at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, though, the vibes I get from Allen right now, until he changes it, are Marino or Kelly. It's I think more on the Marino than Kelly, and I think
the greatness is there. The greatness is there. It's just when are you going to show it when it counts? That's the question.
Yeah, and I see Kelly just because it's the same uniform. And is it history repeating itself? But we brought up comparisons, and all 4 of you have an interesting thing, and so I've got a question. For you, but I don't want to give it away, so we're just going to jump right into it. I'm going to give you stats, and you're not going to get a name with it, and then I'm going to ask a specific question afterwards.
I love this.
Okay, so games played. One has 117, the other has 155. That's how the stats are going to be said. The games played at 117 straight down, that's going to be one person. What game 155, that's going to be the other person.
Got it.
So your one is 66, 50, and 1. The other is 81 and 70. Completion percentage, one 64.7, the other 64.3. Passing yards, one 30,429, the other 34,881. Passing yards average, 7.4, 7.3. Passing yards a game, one 260.1, the other 225. Passing touchdowns, 185, 216. Interceptions, 82 to 115. That's pretty comparable. Would we say
very
option
similar.
A and option B are soup similar?
Yeah.
Okay, well, option A is Jared Goff and option B is Ryan Tannehill. So if you throw Ryan Tannehill on the goddamn Lions, do you still have him in your top 5?
I'm not on the Jared Goff train. I don't like
That's-
Jared Goff. I don't think he's good.
Right. I'm just saying.
I don't know about that.
I don't think Ryan Tannehill's good. So if I don't think Ryan Tannehill's good, I can't think that Jared Goff is good.
Jared
They're
Goff
the same
is the
person.
only
Definitely
thing holding
better
the
than
Lions
Tannehill,
back.
though.
He's the only thing
What?
holding the Lions
Yes,
back.
I agree that wholeheartedly.
It's really hard to go off these stats with yards, touchdowns, completion percentages.
Yeah.
When NFL game plans are so unique. So if you're
Right.
on a run heavy team, you're not going to be able to get a lot of passing yards. That's a lot.
Yeah.
Tannehill with Henry.
Yeah,
They
and
got,
then,
they got Hendon Hooker sitting on the
Well-
bench, so I
well,
mean,
then-
anything's possible.
You can't dog on the guy, but then you can just say he's a system quarterback, so he just hands the ball
Yeah.
off.
Right.
well, so is
just-
everyone else, like we said earlier.
They're in the right system at the right time. So does Ryan Tannehill keep the Lions in the same situation as Jared Goff?
I mean,
I
not
think
current
they're-
Ryan Tannehill, I don't think.
That's a good.
No.
That's a good hypothesis.
Maybe Dolphins Ryan Tannehill.
Dolphins Ryan Tannehill. See, but
Yeah.
you're basically looking at Ryan Tannehill's twin, and you gave this dude $225 million, and you're expecting him to not lose every Super Bowl he's ever been to.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not on the Jared Goff train at all. I've started to see people like start to throw him in as the third quarterback outside of Allen and Mahomes, and I'm
No.
like,
I
what in
wouldn't
the
go that
world?
far.
What in the
I
world
wouldn't
are you
go that
doing? Like,
far.
he's not a top 5 quarterback for
I
me.
wouldn't say that
He's
he's
top
a
10.
I say
Top
it
10.
in the same way
definitely
as
top 10 to me.
So Ryan Tannehill Jr. is a top 10 quarterback.
I think he's borderline 10. I
11.
think he might be 11 or 12.
I was gonna say. I think it's the same. Like you said, you don't think Jared Goff is a really good quarterback.
Okay.
I look at Jared Goff a little better than Brock Purdy, and he's doing his job. He's in the loaded
Right.
roster. So
Unfortunately,
How can you say that?
AJ Brown probably gave Tannehill about 50% of those yards. So let's be
Wait,
honest.
how
Yeah.
can you say better than Brock Purdy? Brock Purdy puts up better numbers, and they both have loaded teams. How can you say that?
I mean, Jared Goff has most recently had a loaded team. Brock Purdy, this is his second year with that insane roster. He has the Offensive Player of the Year behind him. Like, Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery are a good rushing attack, but
Yeah, but Purdy's numbers are better than Goff, though.
CMC, hey, throwing a flat to CMC and he takes it to the house helps your quarterback numbers.
And
It
even
sounds
Devo.
just like throwing a flat to Jamar that he takes to the house against the Titans in the playoffs.
Or
doesn't it?
Laporta.
Hey, it's
Laporta.
football for a reason. It's called football.
I mean, I think Gibbs and Laporta got Jared his paycheck, to be honest with you.
yes, yeah.
And I'm on
Just
St.
like-
Brown.
Well,
Just-
how many
just
times did
like
Mahomes
Mahomes.
throw that little dunker too? Mahomes did it too. I mean, it's
Mahomes did it
every
all
quarterback
year.
does it. Yeah.
His YPA last year was not high. It was the lowest in his career.
It
Hey,
wasn't it the
speaking of-
Kelsey one that everybody noticed it though because it got called back, and that's when everybody was like, "Oh, he doesn't dunk it off all the time."
Oh.
Like, yeah, he does.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
does
That's
all
why
the
I
time.
wasn't really impressed by Mahomes' season last year, and I don't think many people were going into the playoffs.
He got
I
bailed
think
out.
people are. He did, and people are too obsessed with winning as a player stat because everyone was bashing on Mahomes going into the last couple weeks. They're like, we don't know if the Chiefs are going to make the playoffs even.
I was one of them.
They can't win on the
And
road.
then they won the Super Bowl, and everyone's like, Mahomes is the greatest to ever do it. And it's like, hold
Like,
on,
calm
wait a
down.
minute. You were just saying he wasn't that good 4 weeks ago.
He definitely got the cards in his favor, but I still didn't think to this day that he could have lost.
Well, yeah, you can
Did
not
he?
like him, but you don't bet against him. That's the
Right,
rule.
but I'm
Right, right.
like I'm still not. It's like when Tom Brady was playing. You don't bet against Tom Brady whether you like him or not.
Right.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it's still Tom Brady. It's still Patrick Mahomes. But he did not have the greatest year last year
No.
in the regular season.
I honestly would be more hesitant to bet against Andy Reid than Pat Mahomes.
Yeah.
I mean, Alex Smith
Patrick
was
was
taking
catching
that team to
ball,
the
right?
playoffs every year before Mahomes got there. So
Yeah.
I understand. Like I was having this argument with someone else. I understand that. I'm not saying Mahomes is bad. He's better than Alex Smith, but like
Right.
they were
Yeah,
a
the
playoff
system.
team. before
Yeah.
Mahomes
It's
got
a
there.
system.
Yeah.
Patrick Mahomes just fits in the system with Andy
Yeah.
Reid's coaching.
And we've
Let's
done
not
this.
get it twisted.
We've done this before. I mean, the perfect example, does Patrick Mahomes change the future of the Chicago Bears? I think the Mitch Trubisky and Patrick Mahomes was the same.
Yeah, let's do it. We did one of these a couple days ago.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Charles. Give them the quarterback, and then PR, you give them the teams. Does he make that team a better team by having him as a quarterback?
All right.
All right,
What
Charles,
quarterback
go.
you going with?
Charles, hit him with the quarterback.
Well, no, I mean, we'll do if Patrick Mahomes was drafted to these to any other team. Do
Are
we
they a
assume?
playoff team?
Yeah, do we assume that Patrick Mahomes is the Patrick Mahomes of Kansas City? And
No.
really,
I would say no mostly, but I think there's a few teams that maybe.
I think if he would have got drafted to the Bears, like people were saying that he should have, you are fucking delusional to think that he would have the same career that he has in Kansas City, because there's
He might be
no
on a different team right now.
Yeah.
he would be on a
Yeah.
different team, because
Right.
there's no, again, Andy Reid and the coach that we had at that time, I think it was John Fox or Nagy. Nagy was the offensive coordinator. I get it, for Andy Reid. Again, he doesn't compare to Andy Reid when it comes to putting the right players in the right system, in the right positions, and having the right coaching staff. And I will say this, and I will say this over and over again. Some people are meant to be head coaches, and other people are just meant to be coordinators. Matt Nagy is meant to be a coordinator. He is not a head coach.
Yeah.
So, no, drafting Patrick Mahomes to the Chicago Bears instead of Mitch Trubisky wouldn't have changed shit.
how many quarterbacks do we think do that? Does Tom Brady do what he
Or off the top of
did?
my head.
I'm like,
Because
He-
honestly,
clearly
off
he
the top of
did
my
it
head,
at an
Aaron
old age.
Rodgers, maybe Aaron Rodgers.
I think Aaron
I
Rodgers
got
is
four. I
capable
got
of that.
four. I got four.
That's
off
why I
the
have
top
him
of
as my best ever. 'Cause I don't
Yeah.
think
like Peyton Manning did it, even though he got carried
Peyton
in
could do it.
a Super Bowl win the first time he went to, when he
And
got
the second, that
dragged
defense
by
won him.
Seattle. He
I
made
think-
Denver. He carried Denver to that Super Bowl offensively. Like he
Yeah.
It was a
obliterated
55-year touchdown.
This is what I'm saying.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah,
I'm like, yes, there are certain quarterbacks when you plug them in just because of the quarterback that they are, can make any team better. But it is not as much as people think, as many quarterbacks as it is.
right.
It just doesn't work.
Yeah.
You know?
Patrick,
Yeah,
you-
but I was also gonna say, I mean, it's I don't know how I even remember this interview moment for Tyreek Hill, and this is after he left Kansas City, and he was just
Yeah.
giving Mahomes like praise. He was like, first couple practices, Mahomes came into KC with us and started throwing. I watched him throw. I'm like, this guy sucks. Who let him? Why are we drafting this Patrick Mahomes?
Yeah.
Kid sucks. So
Yeah.
I think
Now
more
he's
of a
gotta catch
testament
passes
to
from
Andy
Tua.
Reid. Patrick Mahomes is
Yeah.
not doing what he's doing without Reid. Like Reid
No.
is easy.
Like,
That's
Well,
fair
and
for
the
any
trust
player,
that
I
Andy
think, for
Reid,
the most
and that's
part.
the trust that Andy Reid has in Patrick Mahomes to be able to do what he does. Like they built that kind of relationship.
Yeah.
But again, I don't think Patrick Mahomes just does that on any team. Is there certain teams that he could be on that will just be great? Yes, because Patrick
Yeah.
Mahomes is good. But
Okay,
I
well,
hate that theory that you just plug him in. Well, if he went to Chicago,
Well, I have four of them off the top of my head, and I didn't even have Mahomes in there. I had
Well,
Drew Brees, Peyton Manning, Aaron Rodgers, and Ben Roethlisberger. Because Roethlisberger
Okay.
was just a huge freaking. He got hit all the time. People just couldn't take the guy down.
Ben
I would be fishy
Roethlisberger
about
was
Drew
Terry
Brees.
Bradshaw's.
Unfortunately, I had
Yeah.
to witness that as a Bengals
So
fan.
so now Drew
He
Brees.
wasn't even a great quarterback. He's just by the time that they tried to take him down, the guy was open. Just threw the ball to him.
I can understand Drew Brees because he did and was doing great in San Diego
That's
before he got traded to New Orleans and then
Drew
continued.
Brees had great stats in San Diego, and he
Bo
got
Nix
then he went-
2.0.
Yeah. Charles had this huge hot take that he goes, "What if Bo Nix becomes the next big thing in Denver?" Like he physically is gifted enough and talented enough,
And
He-
old
he's
enough.
He's old as shit.
I
He's
mean,
like
when he
28.
played
love that
30,
pairing.
35
He's
years.
and he's not even a Mormon. He's not even a Mormon. I mean,
He
It's
played
a
35
great
years in
pairing.
college.
BYU.
Yeah, I trust Sean Payton. Everyone's pissed because of what he said about Nathaniel Hackett. Too bad it's true. I don't get upset when something's true. You can hate the delivery. You can't hate the truth. But I mean, you got the dude whose entire career is owed to Drew Brees. He
Yeah.
basically lived and breathed Drew Brees for
Yeah.
over a decade, and now he's in this
he
draft
milked the
position.
shit out of it.
Yeah, I think he looked at Bo Nix and was like, "That's my Drew Brees, and I
have a
can
question.
win with the Drew Brees."
I got an interesting question. Which coach milked their quarterback more? Clearly, I know the answer. Belichick and Brady,
I
or
pass.
Drew, or Peyton and Sean.
Peyton and Sean.
Ooh.
Which coach milked you more?
I truly believe that Bill Belichick is only great because of Tom Brady's mind. So
I
think.
disagree.
Yeah, I would say Peyton and Sean too.
So, question for you, Nate. Outside of a kicker and a punt returner, who has Bill Belichick drafted after Tom Brady?
Oh, as a GM, I think Bill Belichick's atrocious. But
Okay,
I think,
okay. So specifically, okay, and I can't disagree with you.
Yeah, as a coach, I think
water.
he's phenomenal. I think he game plans.
Yeah.
He goes into Super Bowls where he always seems to be outmatched. He sets up system. I mean, just as much should be owed to Josh McDaniels, to be honest, because Josh McDaniels was cooking, and he always
to be get the jobs he got multiple times. Yeah,
Again,
yeah. And I love the way that he set up his
surgery
system.
coordinator.
He never should have been in charge of that, but the only reason he was is because of Brady. He was
Yeah.
winning, so they just allowed it to happen.
There's not many times, Nate, where I cannot continue an argument. Anybody else here can tell you I can
That's
devil's advocate
terrible.
all the way out. But no, I mean that was a really great point. Yes, I mean him as a coach, it's hard to argue that.
Drafting and terrible.
Yeah,
Terrible.
Yeah, 'cause-
absolutely terrible.
You set your team up, right? Like, if you give your, I mean, this is what the Chiefs are doing, too. It's a blueprint. I think the Chiefs and the Patriots, you can look at them for their title runs and you can say, oh, it's crazy, it's happening twice, but it's not really crazy. They're setting up their teams. Oh, am I glitching out here?
You're all right. We can still hear you. It's just
Okay.
a photo thing. It'll come back.
All right.
Yeah.
So they're setting up their teams where they always consistently have an elite defense. This is a stat for Tom Brady. He's never had a defense in the bottom half of the league in his career. That's a stat.
Yeah.
Another stat for Tom Brady. He's had 2 teams in his, I don't know, was it 17 years with the Patriots that he had an offensive line outside of the top 10. They were 11 and 12. So he's never had a bottom half offensive line. He's had the #1 offensive line in football 3 different years. So you set up a system where you give him a great offensive line, you give him a great defense, you surround the offense through a tight end so you don't have to pay receivers and you can afford to pay other positions, just like the Chiefs are doing with Kelsey. And you get some guys that can fill roles. Like, you get, as much as MBS gets hate, he filled that role for KC for a while. And you get guys like Amendola, Edelman, LeGarrette Blount. Like, you just get your guys.
Well, now that Rice is gone, they're gonna go find another one. It doesn't even matter anymore.
It doesn't matter.
You know.
Well, and the cool thing too, something I've noticed about these blueprints is that it's not a single blueprint as much as it is a book of blueprints that you follow and recycle. Where the Chiefs win a title being offensively great, and then they won one being defensively great, and they're on track to win another one. I think they've won 2 now with offense, 1 with defense. They're back-to-back went offense, defense realistically this year. So they went and drafted and fed into this offensive mindset. You can see how they were playing their game. Last year they were super focused on defense. This year they seem to be hyper-focusing on more offensive tactics, which allows for other teams to not build around you. And that's how they're able to continue moving it forward. How we won last year is not how we're going to win this year. And because of Andy Reid, they're able to do this.
And this is the thing. It took me a while to admit this. Like, I wasn't always a Tom Brady, the GOAT type person. But as he's retired, like, when you really think about it, whether you like him or not, as a human being, whatever the case may be, as a player, like, the man has 7 Super Bowls. Like, there's not a team in the league as a team that has more.
The game, not the player.
He has more Super Bowls than any team in the whole NFL. He left the team that he played for 20 years, and the very next year won a Super Bowl.
Yeah,
like,
he played for Michigan, didn't he?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I'm like, he's the GOAT, and I'm like, to say that he's not the GOAT, you're fucking delusional.
You want a hot take?
Yes, and also I was also gonna say, Aaron Rodgers, even now he's throwing his O-line under the bus. They suck, but as a quarterback, a big part of being a quarterback is being a leader. Tom Brady makes his team and his locker room fight for him. So
the difference between Aaron Rodgers, for me,
wasn't he never a top 10 paid quarterback because of that too?
This is the thing. The difference between Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers, as good as he is, and this is no disrespect to the Packers, he is a great quarterback. I'm not taking away from his stats, but he's a shitty individual when it comes to team responsibility.
Yep.
Tom Brady
I agree.
never had a max contract, and it allowed him to be successful for 20 years because you're building for the future. Aaron Rodgers never can say that he was worried about. Did he complain that he didn't have enough? Yes, but look what you're doing. You're taking away from your team, so y'all can't be great and get.
Yeah,
those
and
games.
Nate doesn't like what you guys are saying, so he's on a darkness retreat right now. So
That's very
ayahuasca's
true.
got to him.
I don't know what to do to get it back, but
I don't know.
I'm
Hey, it's
not
all good.
sure
We can hear
either,
you.
but we can
Oh, you're
still
good.
hear you. And
as long
everybody,
as you can hear me.
Nate
I'll
is
put a
like
picture
room
of
away
you.
from me. Nate is like a room away from me. He can come and sit next to me if he wants.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
yeah. My biggest problem with post Green Bay Aaron Rodgers, and it adds to everything you guys are saying, but the biggest FU I think as a Packer fan was when he showed up to OTAs with the New York Jets, because it's like the one thing he decided that he wasn't going to do anymore for like the last 5 or 6 years, is that he just wasn't going to build with the new teammates. He had what he was going to do, and he told who he wanted to do it with. And if
Right.
that wasn't the story, then you got a diva. And at times it truly felt like he was like, you can't win this without me, so I'm going to show you how to lose it with me.
Like he did week 1, that one game against the Saints. Like he played like shit.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
And also, he understands that this is where Aaron Rodgers is a little too smart. So he realizes how much power he has. Right now, when they were all talking about him not showing up to OTAs, all of the media said, yeah, he's probably going to do what he usually does, and said, you know, I wish I had a little more communication with Saleh, and, you know, I wish he would have known that not to expect me. And, you know, the media says Aaron Rodgers just gives his coaches slaps on the wrist because they're paying him the most. He's the franchise, and he knows that. So, I mean, usually a good leader is supposed to still put the team first, take a humble approach, but sometimes Aaron Rodgers doesn't do that.
Right.
You know who else doesn't do that? Mahomes, when he gets beat by Josh Allen in the regular season, he blames the refs.
Well,
Isn't that one of
he
the
blames the
funniest clips
refs
ever?
every time he loses.
Isn't
that's
that
what
so
happens when
funny?
you put ketchup on your macaroni.
Yeah, Josh is going in. Have you seen that clip? Josh goes in for the handshake with Mahomes, and like Mahomes is just still bitching about the refs. He's like, "Worst fucking call I've ever seen in my life." And Josh is
Mahomes
just
won
like,
that game too.
"What do you want me to say, bro?" Like, I don't know. I don't know what you
Like
want me to
your
say.
receiver was offside, bitch. What do you want?
By 10 feet, he was offsides.
Like, calm down.
And Josh is like, dude, I'm just trying to say good game. Like, I'm sorry, I'm not the ref.
Patrick
So,
Mahomes is definitely a sore loser.
We'll do. We're not necessarily running up against 8 o'clock, but we're running up on our 2-hour mark. So we'll do a quick frame around the horn. I want to catch everyone's dark horse. If you have mentioned it earlier, it's okay to reiterate it. We'll start with me. My dark horse this year is actually going to be the Rams. I love what they do. I love what Sean McDermott's done. I feel like they've.
What is happening, Charles?
Yes.
Somebody
Some dude's running
Somebody
his
more than
lawnmower out there like crazy.
Okay, so I got a new neighbor a few months ago, and this dude is like a scooter enthusiast. I've got nothing against scooters, but the dude just rips this fucking scooter out in his damn front yard for 20, 30, 45 fucking minutes. I'm like, dude, just take it out to the fucking road already. Like, Jesus.
You can't ride the damn thing.
So anyway, my dark horse, before I mute myself and go out and probably catch a charge, the Los Angeles Rams.
I like the Rams a lot, and I love what McVay does there. I think he's elite as a coach for a reason. He develops players, which is important.
My dark horse is going to be the Cardinals this year. I think Kyler Murray has a good year, you know, gets focused on Black Ops 6 and able to take it to the field.
Hashtag Murray Fever, baby. Murray Fever, baby.
Dude, his ass is going to be freaking obsessed with that. He's not
he's going to have a remote control right next to him on the bench as like a boost of morale. Like, yeah, if I win
To
this
be
game,
fair,
I can go
though,
home.
in Kyler's defense, would you rather have a quarterback obsessed with playing video games or one that goes to the strip club a lot?
Oh,
video games.
Or one who falls
Video
asleep
games.
at the wheel.
Yeah, that's true.
I'd rather have video games because at least I know he's trying to win at something.
Hey, if video games is what we're talking about and not health, I think the Cardinals are a great pick.
I think the Cardinals are going to be a decent team. I think they can pick. I don't know if they'll win the NFC West, because it's the Niners.
Yeah.
But I think they can fight for one of the wild card spots for sure and make it interesting.
Yeah,
For sure.
Patrick, who's your dark horse?
My dark horse this year, and Charles is not going to like this one at all. I think that the Indianapolis Colts, I think Anthony Richardson's going to come back, and he's going to have a hell of a season this year.
I don't know why you guys are so hyped about running backs for quarterbacks. It makes no sense.
Anthony Richardson is not a
Every year.
running quarterback.
I think Richardson has the potential to be more of an all-around quarterback than Lamar.
He got hurt running the ball. He's not a running quarterback.
Well, yeah, on the depth chart, he's labeled a quarterback. I get it.
Just Lamar Jackson.
Big Ben Roethlisberger with not Lamar speed, but get like in that ballpark with that size. Anthony Richardson is so strong.
He's got a hell of an arm.
He has almost a big body, almost has a Josh Allen type arm, huge arm.
Yeah, I agree.
And
so does
such a great leader too.
Hey, so does Will Levis, and I just want to use that as a transition into my
Fuck Will Levis.
Come on,
outside of the Packers and the Steelers, which I expected one of you to say the Packers. That's why I didn't put it down, and I talked about the Steelers earlier. How about the Tennessee Titans? Not because they have youth, because they definitely don't. But Will Levis has a cannon. He likes to show it off.
You know why I don't like Will Levis?
Because he got two cannons, or what?
No, because he puts mayonnaise in his coffee.
He puts mayonnaise and other things as well on Twitter.
Yeah.
You ever see that?
Special pizzas.
He's a weird motherfucker.
Hey, you know what? I just gained so much respect for him because he's just like me. Because that's he lasts about as long as Tua does in the playoffs.
He's got the. Did you guys? Oh man, hey, you guys can copy this if you want. We'll make one of the shirts. We'll make the Will Levis 30-second shirt.
Oh my gosh, I would
I'm gonna
love
make
that.
it. I'm gonna make it.
30 seconds is too much. I think it was like 10.
It was 10. Did you see her though? You see her? I love the memes that went around after that. They're like, yeah, let's see your ass last more than 10 seconds with her around.
With her? Yeah, that's a good point.
The way I look at it.
Oh, sorry.
All I need is 10 seconds.
Listen, if anybody has anything to say, you just look at them and tell them to hold their breath. And when they stop holding their breath, you remind them that that's a long time. And then you keep going.
It's the same thing as like,
buddy.
I'll do the 10 pump jump with Will Levis jersey on. That's what I'll do.
You show me you can hold your breath for longer than 5.
Yeah.
5 seconds?
5 minutes.
Yeah. It's like 3 inches too. Girls be complaining about 3 inches until they're cutting their hair, and then it's like 3 inches. That's so.
I got asthma. I can't hold it that long.
What records you setting over there, PR?
All right, who's dark horses next?
Bailey, I think, right?
Bailey.
I think Bailey's last.
All right, so I did expect someone to choose the Green Bay Packers. I would choose them, but I don't look at them as a dark horse. They're in the NFC Championship. No, I'm sorry, they're in the divisional.
Yeah.
They're a playoff team. They're a playoff team.
And if Jordan Love doesn't try to be what you guys said earlier, Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers type, and go and put his team on the line and play ball, if he's playing super conservative and smart, they might win that game. So I don't really look at the Packers like a dark horse. I already see them in there, especially with how the course of history for Green Bay quarterbacks have been. So
it's been just
I got a nice horse, and it's really dark. It's the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Woo! The Baker Mayfield experiment.
I think Baker Mayfield's experiment has worked, and after that season, the Buccaneers didn't know if Baker would stick around, and they said they hope they did. That he did, and he did. And Mike Evans is in Tampa. Yeah, and Mike Evans is still in town there because Baker's still there. You know, 2 free agents they were able to secure. So that's big. Nate makes a good point about how that roster was for Tom Brady. Do you want to go into that a little bit, Nate?
Yeah, I mean, I might be a Brady hater, but always the counter argument when I say Belichick is carrying him and his easy schedules carry him is, well, he won a Super Bowl with the Bucs, and I'm like, okay, well, he had top 5 offensive line that year. He had
Gronkowski.
He had 3 top 15 receivers that year. Everyone wants to dog Antonio Brown because he was a nut job. He was balling
still
that
putting in
year.
that
He
work.
still got
He was
Yeah.
balling.
He was still
Godwin,
putting in that
Evans,
work with his crazy.
Leonard
stuff.
Fournette
Central
all of a
Michigan
sudden
graduate.
came back to form. You might want to give a
Yep.
little bit of Brady credit for that because he got
And
him.
you had Fournette in the backfield. Like that man
Yeah,
was a
Fournette in the
workhorse.
backfield. Gronk comes out of retirement. Every time he does, he's still a top 5 tight end somehow. I think
Yeah.
he could do that tomorrow if he wanted to. And that
Yeah.
defense was the best defense in football.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it was loaded. It's not as loaded now for Baker, but it's still pretty juiced.
And
Yeah,
it's
they
the
built
NFC
around him.
South. Somebody has to win that division.
Yeah, that unfortunately the
So-
division is trash, but
Yeah, but I was
Yeah,
just gonna say
yeah.
like there's still after
Yeah, yeah.
effects of that loaded roster.
But I
that made
I
the benefit
still
of it.
like Baker in Tampa. I think he really showed people that the little glimpse that they had in Cleveland was real. And I think I'm not saying that they're a Super Bowl team, but they're definitely, you know,
they're a playoff team again this
I'm
year
like-
for sure.
again, they got to win. Somebody's got to win that division. So whoever wins, the
Hey,
division,
what
we
about
know-
Big
we-
KIRKO
we-
Chainz,
Wait,
bro?
and people forget when Baker had that year on the Browns, they lost.
They
the
were
Chiefs
solid.
in the AFC Championship.
Yeah,
No, I think they lost
Like-
the division round,
Yeah,
I'm
maybe
just
divisional, but
surprised.
hey,
but they
you're
still
losing
them,
to- you're
you
losing
still
to
won.
Mahomes in the divisional. It's a good,
Yeah.
you know.
Charles.
You won a playoff game in Cleveland for the first time in I don't know how many years, like 20
Yep.
something years. You know, you brought him back, but I'm like, now you got Deshaun Watson. So,
Unfortunately, nobody picked the Atlanta Falcons with Kirky.
I was going to ask, but I haven't heard. Did you get your dark horse out?
he picked.
I picked Anthony Richardson and
Okay. That's right. I got
I'm
super
like-
focused on the running
Again,
back.
It's
even
tough for me to look at the Falcons as a dark horse.
Yeah.
I feel like the
Listen-
Falcons are just going to win that division outright.
That's
Like, I
what
feel
I'm
it's tough to
saying.
look at it as a dark
So
horse.
with garbage time, they just win the division outright.
Yeah, I think
somebody
they
has
do.
to win the division.
I think they're loaded. I think all they were missing was a quarterback. I think Kirk Cousins is a solid around that 10 spot, like
And they
Jared
got
Goff
Phoenix
type
as their
quarterback.
He's got to
So,
make
you
those
know.
receivers better. They have top 20 receivers. Like they have 2 of them. Drake London. Come on, let's be honest. The dude he was a consensus #1 player in
Yeah.
coming out of high
Kyle
school.
Pitts might be the biggest waste
Yeah.
of talent in the league
I
so
mean-
far.
Yeah, for sure.
I guess we'll find out soon because
You got John Robinson. So
Was
I'm
it
like,
Kirk Cousins
Yeah.
who made Addison appear good? I mean, because if Kirk Cousins can do what he did with Addison, obviously he had Jefferson, right? But
Well,
Kirk
yeah,
Cousins
but I mean,
was
let's-
doing it with Addison and T.J. Hawkinson. Is he going to
do
do
you think
that
Drake
with?
London and Addison are kind of like the same? They're kind of the same receiver.
I think London's better than Addison, to be honest with you.
Well,
Oh,
probably
yeah.
talent-wise.
Oh, he's a better
Easily.
driver.
Yeah. And I think.
There you go. Yeah, responsible driver.
Hey,
Well, I
As far
think
as
Kyle. I
receiver
think
rooms
Kyle
go-
Pitts is better than T.J. Hawkinson. I
Yes.
really do.
yeah.
Wow.
As far as receiver rooms go, I don't think anyone's faster than the KC Chiefs. I mean, those guys like to get
Yeah.
above
No.
100 pretty
Like you
often on
drafted
the
the
highway.
fastest guy in the NFL draft.
Oh, I was
Yeah,
talking
with-
about I was talking about
with-
behind the wheel, but
I was going to say, with
Definitely nobody's
Fingers
faster
over
than
here.
KC.
Yeah, we're gonna.
Nobody's faster than KC.
I thought Fast and Furious was ending at 12. Kansas City's like, hold my beer. There's another 4 we can add on to this franchise.
yeah, the KCPR team has been in overdrive this offseason.
All right, you're going to say they're going to
Pat Mahomes Sr., another
But
DWI.
there's one
I
thing
know.
that you can't say about KC. They are relevant. Whether it's good or bad, they're still relevant.
Yeah.
Well, I know a couple F1 teams that need new drivers for the next circuit, so they might as well start calling the Kansas City Chiefs.
And definitely
Yeah.
not calling the
Yeah,
Vikings.
but Charles,
because
but Rasheed
it's
Rice
close.
don't stay in the driver's seat. He bails when he gets first opportunity.
Yeah, well, when you crash in an
That's
F1 car, you would bail too. That's all I'm saying.
that thing's on fire. You're getting your ass out of there.
It could be worse. You could be Jalen Carter and you could bail while your teammate's dying in the car.
Oh
Yeah.
my god, that was terrible.
Yeah, 2 times a month, I watch the Quentin Williams interview where he sneezes and blesses himself and then thanks himself.
I love Yeah, you could either be that type of player or you could be Rasheed
That dude was a
Yeah,
dog,
he's
and I
pretty-
knew it.
Wow.
Bless you. Hey.
Thank you.
Put that on the
Yeah.
list.
In the room with me.
He's got some like historic media moments. Like that
Oh
dude.
my God!
Yeah.
It's we don't get those players in Green Bay. We draft differently, but man, it's
That's
That's
an
funny.
underrated.
You got AJ Dillon, is he still with y'all?
Oh yeah, oh yeah,
I thought
dude.
did y'all cut AJ Dillon? Or
No,
did
he's the king of
No.
Door County, bro. He's gonna be in Green Bay until he's done in
The
NFL.
dude and his wife go up, and they're like big foodies. They go up in
Yeah.
the Door County, which is like the rich cherry capital of the wine places, and they go up there and they do food
got that
reviews. Him and
goat
his
bar
wife.
too.
Yeah,
They got
and
that
AJ
goat
AJ
bar.
Dillon went
podcast.
viral. AJ Dillon went viral on TikTok because he posted a video in shorts with no underwear, and everyone was like,
Wait a damn.
"Yeah, yeah."
Every all football season long.
He plays Farm Simulator too, like at like 2:30 in the morning.
Yeah,
does do
yeah,
that.
yeah. But he does scavenger hunts around Green Bay all season long.
Yeah, and he
what
gives
he
away
does,
gives away
yeah,
jerseys and
signed
like, football
signed
tickets
memorabilia, and
stuff,
he'll
yeah.
place it at like a local food restaurant with a like a small picture, and he's like, "All right, good luck. Post a picture
Yeah.
in the comments when you find it." It's super cool.
Yeah, he'll like sign cards and like leave them behind like plants and stuff.
Yeah, he's
Okay,
a cool
so
dude.
this is a quick round robin. Give me your two teams that you think are going to be the absolute worst in the league. We'll start with me, Commanders and Patriots. Patrick.
Commanders and Patriots, Commanders and LA Chargers.
Wow.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Really?
I can
Yeah.
see a poetic plan that allows Harbaugh to be the last person in the league to pick up a superior talent in the draft.
I think
like
somehow, some way, Carolina is going to actually get 3 wins this year.
that. Okay, nice. I like that ad too. So the worst team in the league will not achieve 2 or more wins. I love
Yeah,
that.
I have Carolina on my list for sure. My shocking one is the Vikings. It's really great you broke that news today, Bailey. But I actually had the Vikings before, just because I don't know JJ McCarthy. I don't know if I trust it, and I don't know. I'm just maybe I'm hating. It's a good division.
No, I agree with you. I think Jim Harbaugh got that dude drafted.
The
where he got
the
drafted.
caveman or the rookie, that's who you're going after.
Yeah.
The surfing caveman, that's what I called him.
Bailey.
Yeah, I'm gonna go. I definitely agree that Patriots and Commanders can definitely be that, but
Yeah.
I don't want to give you guys the same team. So I'm gonna do like some potential teams that a lot of people have respect for now, and this big one's gonna kind of be a shocker because they were kind of like a 9-win team last year, if I'm not wrong. But I see Derek Carr falling apart.
Yeah.
Oh, New Orleans.
The Saints.
Let's
just
go,
being a-
Spencer Rattler.
Yeah, just turning into a
Oh, that's
dumpster
right.
fire
They
this year.
did get the rat.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
The
and
Saints.
Yeah, and then the Patriots are a really good option there, and I can see it happening, but I think Drake May is like a really sharp guy, and I think he's a good leader. So I see them doing okay. Also with the Panthers, I think Bryce Young's going to bounce back.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he had some help, but I mean, I think with his play style, it's really hard for him to, get by in his rookie year. So I'm going to go with the Broncos for the other.
Okay. I like
That might
that.
be the worst situation a rookie quarterback's ever been put into.
Mhm.
What Bryce
Yeah,
Young was put into.
And Bo Nix, like, not an SEC guy, Oregon player. I mean, we have the outlier in Herbert, but usually, I mean, I think of Marcus Mariota, just a dog in college, and then gets to the NFL, some flashes, has a good year or two, and then
Dog water.
it's like he's not even he's not too old right now, and had that stint
No.
with the Falcons and just couldn't. So you never know
Well,
with like
I get huge RG3 vibes from Jaden Daniels, and I'm not sure if that's because of the same jersey.
Yep.
It's just it's a Commander's thing, Charles.
RG3 stays
Oh, it
yapping online too for someone with such an
Does
he?
unsuccessful
Yeah.
NFL career.
I can't wait
Just
to get his
yaps.
attention. I love it.
Just yaps.
Hashtag practice. All right, PR, drop us with your two. I like
My
that.
two-
I like that. Well
my
thought out,
two
baby.
are pretty sure they're not going to be a surprise to anybody. The first one are the Giants. I think they're going to be just dog shit. Like,
Yeah.
this is a high school football team pretty much.
40 million reminders on how dumb they are. Yeah.
And then the second one, I just don't. I like them, but I don't think they're going to be as good as people think they might be. They're not a playoff team, but they're not good. I think it's going to be the Raiders. I think they're going to
Yeah.
do shit.
wow.
That's a good one.
I like
I'm
that.
like, are you really? I'm not saying Minshew is terrible, but you
But
really
you're thinking,
trust.
well, Devontae's probably going to bail midway through the season,
I'm
probably.
just
anyway.
like you can't tell me that defense is going to carry you for the whole season.
And that's
Yeah.
and that's the other crazy point. You have a dude like Devontae Adams.
And you're not
receiver
using
series-
him.
This new receiver series on Netflix has come out, and Devontae Adams goes, which Nate made a TikTok about it not too long ago, and it's
Yeah.
totally true. He's like, I got to get out of here before I have to kill myself. Like I keep getting hit. It's like, dude, you had Aaron Rodgers in Green Bay and all
Yeah,
that.
bro. I have no sympathy for you at all.
No,
you forced your way out of Aaron
he
Rodgers.
got so upset because he didn't get a contract when he wanted.
So what?
it.
He
It's
took
like,
Yeah.
19. He took
Yeah, with
19
that-
million instead
Yeah,
of
but
17.
20. I think it's
Yeah, but
20?
even
I
with
think it's
that,
20.
I mean, you got a dude like Devontae Adams, still one of the best. Go trade up and get a freaking quarterback. Like,
Yeah.
I don't think they thought Penix was going to get picked. I think they thought Penix was going to slide to him.
I
Nobody
swear
thought
to God.
nobody thought he was
I
going to get
mean,
picked that
yeah,
early.
that's true.
The only thing that
We had
pissed
a-
me
we
off
had a
more was
draft
the Cooper
episode. We do a
DeJean.
live draft. It was everybody was
Cooper
like looking
DeJean.
at
What the
each other
hell?
like,
Yeah.
serious?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
so
Yeah,
bad.
but I
Alrighty,
think the Raiders
PR.
are going to fall. I think
yeah,
the
I
Raiders
think
are just
Penix
not
in
gonna be
Vegas
as
would have
great.
been. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
Penix in Vegas would have been spectacular.
It would have been a lot better.
Hit us with your dad jokes, PR, then we'll jump
All right,
right into
I
Vermont.
got two dumb ones. Wait, did Nate say his two?
Yeah,
Yes.
I did.
Yep.
Okay, so I got two. What do you call a feud between celebrities?
A feud between celebrities. No idea.
Star Wars.
Oh,
Oh boy.
What's a scarecrow's favorite fruit?
I feel like I've heard this one. It's driving me crazy.
Yeah.
What
That's
is
usually what it
strawberries?
is.
strawberries?
Oh yeah, I haven't heard that one.
Alrighty. Oh man.
Oh, damn
Okay.
it, I did it again.
Yeah,
You broke
did.
it.
Yeah, you did.
I'm back.
Two
All right.
darkness
broke it
retreats.
So here we go. Certainly,
on the dark
Vermont,
side.
also known as the Green Mountain State, has a rich history and unique characteristics. Independent nation. Before becoming the 14th state in the United States, Vermont existed as an independent nation for 14 years. It declared independence in 1777. I'm starting to have a real good problem with Vermont here, all right? But anyways, they declared independence shortly after one of the greatest dates of all time. That happened in 1776, allowing locals to print their currency, enact anti-slavery laws. Okay, I'm starting to feel a little better, and establish a postal service. Sometimes you just got to read it all.
He was about to have a whole fit.
Oh no, he's a panic attack. Oh, he's back.
Hey, welcome back.
Man.
You start stepping on 1776. We have a
Hey,
problem.
that's how it works, though.
But I get it. It was a time of slavery, and it was a progressive moment for Vermont. So well done on doing what
The
you
right
thought was
thing.
right. Yeah, absolutely. The name origin, the name Vermont is derived. Oh my God, it gets so much worse. From the French words vert, meaning green, and mont, meaning mountain. French explorer Samuel de Champlain
Green
coined the
Mountain?
term when he first saw the Green Mountains in the region.
That was terrible.
I've got a real problem with France, but we'll just keep moving.
That's another episode.
A whole nother episode. Ben and Jerry's, the famous Ben and Jerry's, is an ice cream brand that began at a gas station in Burlington, Vermont. So that's kind
Didn't
of
know that.
funky. I didn't know that either. I knew Ben and Jerry's. I thought Ben and Jerry's came from New York.
Well,
So that's
Vermont.
interesting. Vermont. Okay. So here we go. Vermont offers a delightful array of locally made products that resonate with both residents and visitors. Their most popular item. Everybody give me a guess. Starting with Patrick. Go.
Maple syrup.
Bailey.
Man, I'm just thinking about mountains, so I'm gonna say spring water, springs.
Okay. Nice. Nate.
I was going to say some sort of camping equipment. I don't know. Maybe tents. I don't know.
Okay. No. Good. Outdoors camping. PR.
Ice cream.
Ice cream. Okay, and the actual
Probably
winner
Stallion.
is with the true statement and the extra $50 if we were playing Price is Right, or $500 if you're on the right episode. Patrick coming in with maple syrup. Their
Really?
number
I was gonna
one
say, or
purchased-
ski equipment because
Yeah,
they
the-
have like mountains and shit there, right?
The most purchased merchandise product in Vermont, maple syrup. Vermont is renowned for its high quality maple syrup, whether in traditional glasses, jars, or charming mason jars. The sweet liquid gold is a favorite souvenir, followed by darn tough socks. These merino wool socks are not only warm and durable, but also crafted by local artisans, perfect for the chilly Vermont winters. Mountain Weaver tablecloths. Vermont-made pancake mix, and wooden toast tongs round out the top 5.
Wow, they make a lot of weird shit. So,
It's better than Missouri,
yeah, that's
right?
true.
Fucking beans.
Is
And then
Vermont known
Idaho.
for anything other than George Washington?
Probably not.
Probably
Actually,
not.
I think New York borders Vermont. I think if you go up into the Adirondack Mountains, we're pretty close.
Yeah.
To Vermont.
Yeah, I definitely
been
forgot
there.
Vermont. definitely forgot Vermont existed. So
Many times, many times. Apparently, Vermont is also one of the best locations in the
destination.
United States to live. Apparently, they're very tax friendly, very veteran friendly as well. One, I believe you get paid extra in your taxes to live there if you're a service connected disabled veteran.
Well, I need to move.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there's
let's
a
go.
handful of states.
The wrong state.
Oh,
Absolutely.
boy.
So, congratulations, Vermont. You were absolutely way more interesting than Idaho and Missouri, which remain on the
By
bottom
far.
2 of this list. And we're
By
still
far.
waiting on anyone from that state to comment what's greater than potatoes and beans, because y'all got to buy something else than potatoes and beans. There's got to be something else there.
There's a bunch of winos, a bunch of drunk winos in what was it, Wyoming or Montana?
No, that was actually Idaho. Yeah,
Idaho,
yeah,
Idaho.
because of the
Man,
potatoes.
it's
Yeah,
all, it's all there.
massive wine and party
Makes no damn
party
sense.
products, and you're like, oh, party, that's cool. No, like happy birthday to 8-year-old party products.
Oh, I was thinking because all the potatoes, they can make a lot of vodka. That's what I was thinking.
You would,
Yeah.
They
You
went
would
the
think.
complete opposite route. They decided that their potatoes need to make wine.
They throw some killer birthday parties and it's a bunch of drunk moms. That's all I
Yeah,
think of.
Seriously, I'm guessing book clubs are huge, and that's why we don't hear a lot from them.
Sure.
Well, we're getting towards the end here. I want to give a massive thank you to Nate and Bailey from the Cup Check podcast. You guys have been absolute fantastic gifts. You will be able to find them in all the descriptions of this episode, but please take a moment and let everyone know where they can find you and any upcoming things you have.
Yeah. Thank you so much for having us on. I think I speak for both of us and say we're super grateful. We almost missed it because I was trying to find the email and I couldn't find it, and I was super
I
happy
would've
that we
sent you
ended up
again.
doing it. First collab for us so far in our young social media career. Like Bailey said, we're only a month in, so you can find us on TikTok. We try to post about 3 videos every day on TikTok. Some of them are very popular, some of them are not. All sorts of content. WNBA has been blowing up recently. WWE has been blowing up recently. I have a little bit of knowledge in wrestling, and we
So does
both
Paul.
talk football, basketball, baseball all day long. We're trying to do some street interviews and stuff. And Bailey, you got anything else to look forward to?
honestly, yeah, like you honestly said everything, all the kind words I wanted to say. So thanks for stealing my thunder, but no, I'm just-
Yeah, YouTube as well.
Yeah, YouTube as well. Yeah, definitely check us out on YouTube. A lot of fun stuff. Today we just finished filming a SpongeBob character tournament, so we get into serious business.
Nice.
Yeah.
Only the
Awesome.
most serious of sports content at the Cup Check.
Yeah.
We also just got these jock straps, and we're gonna try to do some interviews out in public wearing these like over top of our pants or something. So
I can't wait for
I
it.
just created
I
some
wanna
custom
see that
merch.
shit.
I didn't realize how
Nice.
cheap it was. Actually, I think I ordered through a company in Wisconsin. I have to look that up. But
Nice.
Shout out.
do you know the name? I can't think of the name.
I don't
it's
know.
like MSX
I'm
Sports
definitely
or
gonna
something like
order some of mine. He put in a big order, and I was like, "You're putting a lot of trust in these people to make these jerseys and stuff." He got a hockey jersey, basketball jersey, and then some shorts with like the logo on the front and everything. Amazing,
Yeah.
like real good quality. So I'm gonna
Yeah,
order my
pretty cool.
package here pretty soon. But yeah, just wanted to say like we appreciate you guys so much. I think I can speak for Nate too. Like we had a blast these last 2 hours, a lot of fun. So
Yeah.
Yeah, but thank you
Yeah,
guys
it goes
so
by
much.
quick.
Yeah, and it does. It's and I laughed at myself when I was like, "Yeah, we're gonna try to keep this around an hour." It never.
We
goes
always
an
try
hour.
to. We always try to keep it
Yeah.
an hour.
Yeah.
It never works
Yeah.
that way. So
There's-
That means the
there's-
content's good though. Then
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, for all of our listeners out there, all of our clicks, likes, comments, subscribers, somebody's talking mad shit about me right now. My ears are just ringing, and I love it. Keep it up. I love living rent free in everyone's mind, regardless of any of that. And opinions tend to be something people hold voodoo nowadays. And as you see on this podcast, we have an eclectic group of individuals, and our opinions vary from multiple different viewpoints. But we remind each other on a daily that we're human and we care about each other just as much as we care about all of you out there listening, sharing, commenting. Just one thing that we like to tell you here at the end of the show is that we love you more.
appreciate you guys so much.
You're
that
good.
is sick. How do you get that?
What's that?
I did not
Oh,
know that was an outro. If I ruined that, as